It's a 60-second radio ad. It'll tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code,
summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule,
and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Yep, it's another summer-feeling afternoon, hot and humid with a high of 91. Just a few isolated pop-up storms late today. 73 tonight, the storms ending. And then tomorrow we'll have a better chance. More widespread showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. And because of it, it'll be a bit cooler with highs in the mid-80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 89 points to 42,955.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown, Bailey, his third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
What's going on? The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox back producing the show. Been a couple days. And while he was gone, since the last time he was here, the NHL carousel started. Chris Kreider going from the Rangers to the Ducks. It's kind of the first domino, I guess.
Yeah.
The first one. Obviously, still waiting for the Stanley Cup final to finish up, but the Rangers and Ducks didn't wait. And obviously, as soon as someone else starts making moves, the antsiness, the anxiety, the anticipation for Canes fans is going to go through the roof, right? It's okay, it's happening. Everybody, what are we doing? Long off season, okay? A little bit of patience is going to be okay. But you should know that whatever you're hoping for is a possibility. That's where I'm at right now. There's a million different – it's a choose-your-own-adventure book this offseason for the Canes. What do you want? Right now, it's like the day before the draft. Every team is optimistic, but even more specifically, every fan, there's still the possibility that your ideal is going to happen. And the Canes have absolutely nothing that says your dreams can't come true. Yesterday, we talked a bit about Scott Morrow and Bradley Nadeau, two players that are in the Canes system. Morrow obviously played quite a bit more with the big league club. Nadeau spent most of his season in the AHL, Morrow being a defenseman, Nadeau being a forward. They were both named to the 2024-2025 AHL Top Prospects team, which the Canes pointed out on their social media, it's the first time two players from the same organization have received that honor in the same season. That's really healthy for like a farm system, right? When you're breaking records for multiple players earning awards that are literally called top prospects. That's good. Okay, so that kind of completed the I don't know, 4-category resource list that Canes fans or hockey teams need just to keep everything on the table, right? Keep every option available. They have the prospects that are increasing their value and look ready for a jump. They have the 5th most projected cap space in the entire league. And if you look at just the teams that made it to the postseason this year, just playoff teams, the most cap space in the entire postseason field. They have 6 first-round picks in the next 4 drafts, and they've already taken care of most of their young core with contracts that lock them up into the future. Just to pick 4 of them, Aho, Jarvis, Slavin, and Svech are all under contract through at least the 2028-2029 season. Because there's some fugazi, some little fraudulent cap spaces out there right now where teams are like, we have so much cap space, but their 2 best players are going to be free agents. It's like,
or you have a restricted free agent.
Yeah, it's like, actually, you don't. You do, but it's already accounted for. It's already spoken for. There's not much of the Canes cap space that's already spoken for. Mm-hmm. So it's true. In my marriage, we call it woo money, right? Because, when you're dating or whatever, I think the person was in this movie. No, it wasn't that actor. It was this actor. I'll bet you $10. All right, deal. You find out, you give them $10. Once you're married, it's like, I don't know, betting $10 with you doesn't feel cool considering we put all our money in a pile and share it. So we call it woo money, right? I'll bet you $10 of woo money. That means you can go do whatever the heck you want with it, right? We don't got a budget. It's not for dinner. It's not for groceries. You go nuts. The Canes have some woo money now. Those 4 things mean everything is on the table, right? Because if you have a couple of really good prospects, but you have no draft picks, then guess what? Your future is kind of tied towards those draft picks. You don't ever want to completely empty that cupboard. Same is true vice versa. If you have no draft picks, but you have a bunch of 19-year-olds in your system that are developing and looking strong, it's like, no, you still have ways to improve your team, and you're not completely punting the future. If you have a ton of cap space, but your team stinks, you're probably looking around going, what free agents want to play for the worst team in the league? If you're really, really good and you have no cap space, what's the beauty of being where everyone wants to play if you can't pay them? The Canes have the cap space, and they were a postseason team. They have the prospects, and they have the draft picks. Right? They have the cap space, and they have the players under contract, so it's not already spoken for. So, right, this is now pairing with a conversation we had earlier in the week. My pipe dream is Jason Robertson, okay? That's it. I mean, neither here nor there on whether you think that's your pipe dream, right? It would be a big trade, right? Dallas isn't going to give him away. You'd probably have to give both of their picks back and more assets, more players, more prospects, whatever it is.
He won't be cheap.
It won't be at all. That's my pipe dream.
And he's going into the final year of a contract as well.
And you'd have to account for that. That's my pipe dream. Some of you out there might want Mitch Marner. Some of you out there might be, I think, kind of incorrectly hoping that Sam Bennett hits the open market. Some of you out there might be hoping for Ehlers. Some of you out there might be hoping for whoever it is.
Tage Thompson.
Maybe Thompson and Tuck, right? Make it a package deal and spend even more. Whatever your pipe dream is, your goal, your vision board, it's possible. The way the Canes have situated themselves with all of those things I mentioned, they can be in the mix. But it's the opportunity cost of it, right? If you go after Jason Robertson, you're probably not able to go and chase down someone else in a trade market. There's your big move. If you sign Mitch Marner, that's going to take up a big old chunk of that $28 million in projected cap space. If you go after somebody like Tage Thompson, that's probably like your big move. So it's very much like the gift of options right now and curse of options. Right? Sometimes it's nice when there's no choices to be made. Sometimes it's nice when the easiest way I used to explain this is if there's like a very obvious 3-player tier at the top of like the NBA draft. It's like these 3 are so much better than everyone else in the draft. Sometimes it's nice to pick third. And you just go, yeah, we're going to take whichever one's there. And those 2 are going to sweat out making the right decision forever and ever and ever, and we're just going to sit back and take whichever of the 3 is available. That's not the case for the Canes. The Canes right now, and it's why we're all so excited, is everything's an option. Everything. I'm reading some of the national media, right, which I don't think no offense to them, you just can't know every team the way somebody that covers one team is going to know it. But they're throwing out there that they think the Canes need to go out and spend big on a defenseman.
Yeah, I can see it.
Possible, right? And the way that they kind of, I think, expose themselves a bit as not being super in tune. They're like, and of course, if they aren't able to retain Dmitry Orlov, then they're going to need to spend on a defenseman. And I'm going like, well, I have no expectation that Dmitry Orlov. It's not really an if for me.
Yeah, they have his replacement already.
Exactly. It's kind of like, but that's a whole other path that we haven't really talked about on this show very often. If they want to take some of their considerable chip stacks at this poker table and go cash them in for a defenseman and take what is already a strength and make it a super duper strength, there's a possibility there. It's an exciting time because it's not, I want to do the best with what we can, which is what most teams go into the offseason with. I want the top shelf thing, but with the situation we're in, I think we can realistically get the C version of that, the light version of that. The Canes have top shelf cash. It's not unlimited, though. They have top shelf draft picks. It's not unlimited, though. They have top shelf, but it's not unlimited, so you can't have it all. So right now we're all in agreement. This is, again, one of my favorite analogies. We're hitting them all this morning. The finale of a TV show. Mm-hmm. Everyone's always disappointed with the finale, right? There's very few finales that get it right. Everyone's always disappointed, but nobody is ever disappointed with the second to last episode. And do you know why? Because the second to last episode, we don't write in our brain before we watch it. Once we know a finale's coming, we're like, oh, I hope they bring back the character from season 4. Oh, I hope the 2 main characters get married. Oh, I hope they find out what happened with the boy from earlier in the season or whatever, right? We all put those out there. Chances are we're going to be disappointed because the writers aren't going to answer all of the questions the same way we will. We're at the point where, like, the finale of the season is tomorrow. I mean, the best example would be, like, Seinfeld, right? Because it was the, like, most watched TV thing ever, and everybody seemed to be disappointed. Right now, we're at the point where Dennis might be going, I hope they go back to the soup place and all get it right. And I'm going, I hope at some point Jerry wears the shirt with the ruffles. And you might be sitting there going, if Kramer doesn't say, these pretzels are making me thirsty, I'm going to be so furious, right? Because that's the one I want. Right now, it's all a possibility for all of us. Chances are, after the finale, they might see the soup, they might do the shirt, they might do this, but they're not going to do everything for everyone. Right now, if you want Sam Bennett, they might. If you want Mitch Marner, they might. If I want Robertson, they might. If I want Robertson and Marner, heck, I mean, let your imagination go crazy. They might. Might take trading away some people you don't want to, but they might. They might get Tage Thompson. At the end of the offseason, we're all not going to be happy. But right now, we kind of all are, right? It's all still ahead of us. So enjoy it right now. Just like going into the draft, right? I want this player. You want that player. Well, until they make the pick, we're both having a good time. One of us might be a little disappointed. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. But goodness, do they have all of the resources, all of the metaphorical arrows in there, whatever the thing is you call that you hold your arrows.
That'd be a quiver.
A quiver. Hey, look at you.
Thank you.
You are an archer on the side?
No.
Just quiver. That's exactly what I was thinking, too. That's funny. They have all their arrows in their quivers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This weekend is Father's Day. Right now, I'm telling you, about Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and those two facts will connect. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically their Fox & Bailey watch shop located inside their Village District location in Raleigh, has an event tomorrow and the next day. It is June 13th and 14th, multi-vendor event. If you're looking at the watch brands that will be in attendance, Tissot, Seiko, Norcane. There's some men's jewelry brands that'll be there, John Hardy, John Varvatos, Jones, Root & Jones pens. Those are specialty pens, specialty hats from the Social Hat. They'll all be there for the events, in addition to their traditional selection of pre-owned and vintage Rolexes, Omegas, Norcanes, Hamiltons, G-Shocks, all Timex, Nomos, all the way around the Fox & Bailey watch shop. Basically, they're trying to make a Father's Day unforgettable. And if you want to get your dad what he truly wants, think timepieces. All of those brands I just mentioned are fantastic options, and they'll be available for you this weekend, 2-day Father's event, tomorrow and the next day. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location, specifically the Fox & Bailey watch shop. There'll be sweet treats, drinks, snacks, all that kind of stuff there. And when you're there, enjoying it and checking out the timepieces, let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. I promise it'll be a cool vibe in there, because it always is. Last night, there was an NBA Finals game, Game 3 specifically, and Tyrese Halliburton led the Pacers to a win. Is he still the Sebastian Aho of the NBA? Yes. I'll tell you why.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Marchand roofs it. Florida strikes just 56 seconds in.
Hockey tonight. Florida, Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 4. Puck drop at 8.
Here's a break. Bennett in. Scores! He roofs it. He went backhand, forehand. 4-1 Florida.
On your audio home for the Stanley Cup Final. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Here we go. NASCAR makes history on Prime as the Cup Series goes international. We're headed to Mexico City for a road course with all new challenges. 14 turns with 7,000 feet of altitude.
White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Don't miss the first ever points-paying Cup Series race in Mexico. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Track's clear. We're good to go.
NASCAR. It's on Prime.
You think rush hour karting is just about racing? Think again. At our Morrisville and Gardner locations, you're stepping into a world of high-speed go-karts, axe throwing, golf and racing simulators, arcade challenges, and a full-service kitchen serving up serious flavor. It's where corporate events turn into bonding moments and friend nights turn legendary. This isn't just entertainment, it's serious adult fun. Visit rhkfun.com to plan your experience today.
8 minutes to go in game 3. Matherin going to pull for 3 and hit from the right side. Benedict Matherin with 25 off the bench. 98-96 Pacers, 7:50 left.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Good call on the music. Good call, Dennis.
Well, a little J. Cole?
Yeah, it fits right now. Smooth as heck. Because what is Tyrese Halliburton if not smooth? Right? It's actually one of my favorite parts about the Pacers. And the Pacers did win against the Thunder last night to take a 2-1 series lead over the Thunder. Hand up, first of all, just to get this out of the way. I was wrong. I didn't think the Pacers had it in them.
Yeah? 116-107?
I thought the Thunder would, for the most part, when engaged, kind of run this series just with their depth. So, and with their, obviously, top end, guys like the MVP, SGA, obviously Chet. I just didn't think – I thought this was a more lopsided series than it's already going to be. It's at least going 6, and that right there is more than I thought it would. So shout out to the Pacers for proving me wrong. The question, right, one of the narratives we've been tracking is kind of a through line, a similarity. I keep having deja vu when watching others talk about Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers and flashing back to how we've talked about Sebastian Aho. And it's more vibe than it is, like, I'm not, cross sport comparisons as far as like player abilities. It's really difficult, right? I don't know how high Sebastian Aho jumps is what I'm getting at here, because he doesn't play that sport. But it was a big win for the Pacers, one I didn't see coming. And again, I think it was an Aho game. I think it was the good version of Sebastian Aho that makes you fall in love with him and makes you go to battle. And as I do time and time again, when I call Sebastian Aho a superstar, and then all the trolls on social media want to come back with, you think Aho's a superstar? And I'm like, here we go. Let me roll up the sleeves and get to typing. It's very similar with Halliburton. Last night, Halliburton had 22 points, right? And it would appear as if it's finally one of the games where he's like, no, I'm going to put this one on me. Took 17 shots. But here's the Aho of it all. Fourth quarter. Going into the fourth quarter last night, OKC leads by 5. So the Pacers are behind. And actually, our guy, right, the one that I'm tracking, he's not really my guy for any reason, Tyrese Halliburton has been heating up. 7 points in the second quarter, 7 points in the third quarter, 5 shots in each. And I'm going like, okay, he's starting to take over. Down 5, needs a little bit of a comeback. Here comes Tyrese Halliburton, and 3 points on 3 shots, 3 assists in the fourth. But they win the quarter by 14. They win the game by 9. Is that not an Aho performance where, he may have even scored earlier in the game and now it's a 1-goal game or it's tied going into the third period and you're like, here comes the killer instinct. Here it comes. And then what does he do? He dislodges the puck with like a hit into the boards on the defensive end, and then has a leak out pass that gets ahead to Jarvis or Svech, and maybe they even pass it around so Aho doesn't even get the assist. But it's like he creates the goal that wins the game, or he creates the goal that ties the game. And you look at the end and you're like, wow, he actually played statistically much better in the first 2 periods. You're like, yeah, but the team, he controlled it. They won the game. Here's Tyrese Halliburton after the game on finding a way to come back and win so many like the Pacers do.
Yeah, I thought he just did a great job of just playing within what we do so well. What Ben does at such a high level is
wrong one.
Conversation was like, we got to wake up. I think that was the biggest thing. We had a couple bad turnovers there. We were playing a little antsy, probably is the right word. But I thought we just did a great job of responding. Like, it's the NBA. 10 points is nothing. 20 points is nothing. No lead is safe. So you just got to put your head down and just one play at a time. That's what it is. One play, one quarter, whatever the case is. Try to, look at it in increments that way, so you can stick with it.
That might be the best way to describe these two guys. Right at the beginning, play within themselves. Right? They might, who knows, maybe even like, when they were kids and they were doing the whole, I guess for Aho it would be like pond hockey, right? When you're announcing for yourself, imaginary, you're out there by yourself. For Halliburton's probably a driveway somewhere or a public park, and you're doing the, so-and-so lines up for the NBA championship and blah, blah, blah. He takes the shot, he scores. Who knows? Maybe they were scoring a bunch, right? Maybe they want to be Ovechkin. Maybe they want to be SGA. Statistically, but they've played this sport a lot, and they figured out what they do, and they just play within that, and they don't panic, and they don't change, and they whether you're down 10, I've never heard anybody say this is the NBA, 20 points is nothing, but the Pacers make it happen, right? They got all these 15-point come from behind victories. I mean, it's hard to argue with it when they've done it a few times, but no, 20 points is not nothing. It's impressive to come back from down 20.
Yeah, they just don't flinch.
They don't.
It doesn't faze them. I said this when I was filling in for Adam on Tuesday. I said the space between your ears is really the difference in a lot of these games and a lot of these series, especially in the postseason. What doesn't matter the sport, because if you can stay calm and relax and not get frantic because you're down 15 points, and just still understand the situation and what it requires, you can make these comebacks.
The more impressive part is also keeping that calm, because OKC didn't panic, right? It's not. It's one thing, and it happens a lot, right? And it's the best example in the history of sports is when Tiger Woods was trailing by 2, right? And was 2 holes behind you on the course. He almost didn't even have to play golf, right? He just had to wait for you to implode and put up a 9 on a par 3, right? Just because it was happening. It's so much more. And then, of course, it's easy, right? Then, once the other person starts showing the cracks in their foundation, yeah, okay, now I'm chilling. We got them right where we want them. It's when OKC doesn't panic and doesn't collapse, and Halliburton is still just content making the right pass, right? Content leading the break, content doing all of those things that are within himself that lead to winning, that aren't, nobody is going to look back on last night's game and say, it was like 22, 9, and 11 was the whole turning point. It's great lineup, by the way. Almost a triple-double in the NBA Finals. It's not a scrub lineup. But he could have been more selfish, but maybe they don't win. And guess what? If they would have lost, he wouldn't have been sitting there saying, I wish I would have shot more. And I think that is the gift that those two guys have, right? Because Aho has been on the wrong end of obviously a lot of playoff series. He's been on the right end of a bunch, but he's been on the wrong end of a bunch. And I don't think he sits there and says, oh, man, I should have taken 6 more shots in the third period. He sits there and says, I'm going to watch the film. I made a play that I shouldn't have. I'll fix it. But for the most part, he's way, way, way more comfortable than most athletes are in their own skin. And Halliburton's similar to that. And that might be what I completely missed when I picked the Thunder to win in 5. And now they're down 2-1 to the Indiana Pacers. One should watch more NBA basketball.
Could be 6. I don't know.
Could be. I mean, I still think the Thunder are more talented, but it's the other. I mean, between the ears, but also like what's in your veins. Like there are some, and I'm trying to let me think of a good example. Actually, I'll use one I'm sure your favorite football players.
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger never made sense to me.
Okay.
Right. He was always, and especially later on, like chubby. Like I've never seen a guy have to take 14 steps to get 10 yards. Like he ran like a Flintstone, like brrr, and his arm was very good, but it's not like it was Josh Allen. But then, how many times did it just like, I don't know, he went 5 for 8 on the final drive, but it ended in the end zone.
Exactly.
Like, it was weird. It never made sense, but you respect the heck out of it. The Pacers might have some of that where I'm going like, I don't know. they take a lot of steps. Like, it's just like stuff that doesn't make sense, but then they win the game, and how can you argue with that, right? The final score is the only thing that's inarguable in all of sports. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up. There's a golf tournament going on right now.
Oh, yeah?
If you're a fan of really good golfers, maybe looking not as good, we're gonna want to tune in for our update coming up. But first, Dennis Cox has some info he'd like to pass along to you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. One thing that I try to avoid when I get on the motorcycle is bad weather. And believe it or not, sometimes, as we know here in the state of North Carolina, things look sunny, things look nice. Then all of a sudden, that flash thunderstorm just kind of comes out of nowhere. Always make sure you have an exit plan. If all of a sudden storms hit and you're on your motorcycle, where can you escape in terms of getting under an overpass, maybe finding a way to park into a parking garage. Always know, if you're going to go on the road, where you can get out of the bad elements, because we all know, again, in the state of North Carolina, it just comes out of nowhere. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, this is where Law Tigers comes in. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, even before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies, as we all know, they want to give you the least amount possible. But Law Tigers, here's the wonderful thing about Law Tigers attorneys. They are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth, they know what your gear is worth, and what you're going through after an accident. That's why your case evaluation with them is always free, and they don't get paid until your case settles. So again, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you contact your insurance company if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is back with the Dean's List and one of those U.S. Open updates. Coming up next.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
Atlantic Spas and Builders is the place to get the grill season started during our huge warehouse liquidation sale. Huge savings on Kamado Joe and GMG pellet grills. Save $600 on the KJ Classic 3. 50% savings on KJ and GMG accessories. Receive a free rotisserie and free pellets with every GMG grill. And as always, Atlantic Spas and Builders is the place for hot spring spas, pool tables, outdoor gaming, and Tilo saunas. Save now through Father's Day. Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Glenwood Avenue, Raleigh, and Market Street, Wilmington.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Down on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe to our YouTube, by the way, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Subscribe. Join the community. Jump in the comments. Every once in a while, and I don't necessarily discourage this, but every once in a while somebody gets a hold of like my email address, and they send reactions to the show, questions, debates, oh, you're missing this point. And usually I point them right to our YouTube because I go, listen, especially when I'm on the air. All right, I can't jump in the email and respond to everybody one-on-one and, explain what I meant or why I think your point is not in alignment with what I think's happening. But if you head to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, you can get in the live stream comments. You can look at the other videos, jump in the comments, and while it might not be direct interaction from us during the show when we're kind of busy, there are others that will go back and forth with you and let you know if you're right or wrong according to what they believe, and it's actually a really cool thing that I greatly appreciate. So we're trying to build that community so everybody can sound off on their favorite teams constantly and maybe like test drive some opinions. Sometimes, if you follow me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports, sometimes that's what I'm doing. If there's something in the morning that sounds a little like, ooh, that's kind of off the beaten path, usually that's like, I'm thinking about doing this on the show today, and I want to make sure there is I'm not missing something obvious, right? And goodness gracious, you will tell me if I'm missing something obvious. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, it's 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, but all of our social medias work. Let's fire up the Dean's List, shall we? Let's put some classes in session. First of all, I'm going to give a Dean's List mention to college basketball fans. I don't know if everybody saw this. There was a study done, and I got this off of ESPN. A study done on the social media abuse year over year on social media towards involving March Madness, right? Once those games are going on, obviously that includes sports bettors, which is crazy, by the way. Side note, just because the U.S. Open's going on, we'll get to our U.S. Open update in a little bit. Did you see what Scottie Scheffler said?
No.
He had to delete his Venmo.
Really?
Because when he won, random people were sending him money. Like, hey, I made $600 on you. Here's a 20 spot.
Oh, really?
And when he lost, he was getting just hundreds and hundreds of people requesting money.
Interesting.
So he was like, I had to delete my Venmo because it was the sports gamblers were treating it like a weird piece of my connection to me. So anyway, there was a social media study done, and I'll read straight from the ESPN article. Social media abuse targeting student athletes, including from sports bettors, decreased year over year during March Madness. Tournament officials and coaches experienced a spike in harassment.
Not surprised.
According to studies released Tuesday by the NCAA. So, you're on the Dean's List because targeting non-players is better than targeting players, college basketball fans. The next step is to not be a loser on the internet at all. It's better to be a loser to people, that are, to quote Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. I'm a man. I'm 40. I can take it. Like, it's better to go after coaches. It's not good. It's still embarrassing. But we're moving in the right direction. Don't abuse players online. Next, don't abuse players, coaches, or officials online. By the way, I've never seen like an official change their call because they got a mean tweet. So, how'd you miss the travel with 2 seconds left in the first half of the Murray State game? They're not going to go back and, Jim on Twitter said it was wrong, so we'll pick it up right from here and finish the game again. It doesn't happen. Next Dean's List. Shout out to the ACC-SEC Challenge. The ACC-SEC Challenge put out their matchups for this upcoming men's basketball season yesterday. And kudos. Very well done. The 3 teams in the state, or the 3 teams in the triangle, 4 teams in the state, obviously. 3 teams in the state. We're going to do this again. 3 teams in the triangle for the ACC. Absolute bangers of matchups. Just prime time, quintessentially awesome matchups. The defending national champion Florida Gators will be added to Duke's vaunted non-conference schedule. They'll be playing at Duke in addition to Texas.
That's going to be awesome.
Just Kansas. And blah, blah, blah. They have so many awesome non-conference games.
But yeah, the reigning champions in Canberra, that's cool.
UNC at Kentucky.
That's awesome.
That is... You could pick that up and place that in any year of the last 100 and probably any year of the next 100 years, and that's a banger of a matchup every year. That's just fantastic.
First time since December 2014 that UNC has been to Rupp Arena.
And that's cool for UNC. Like, you might not like Kentucky, but there's some history there.
Yeah.
NC State at Auburn.
Okay, Final Four team.
That is, and it's not like Bruce Pearl is expecting that to go away because, Janai Broom isn't there anymore. They're going to be another talented squad. That is, to me, a very, that's a vote of confidence in Will Wade and what he's quickly building at NC State, that they sent State to, one of the top 3 or 4 premier SEC matchups. Wake Forest is hosting Oklahoma. So they're not getting Duke or UNC at home this year with the new ACC schedule.
Yeah, which stinks.
Neither of them. So, Oklahoma's not the biggest draw in the world, but they deserve some. The Joel should be rocking a few times. I don't know if Oklahoma's going to get it, top shelf, but it'll get 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Give it something. Other games that are interesting in the SEC ACC Challenge: Clemson at Bama. Louisville at Arkansas has the potential to be a really exciting one. Louisville, obviously, a lot of hype. UVA at Texas. Ryan Odom kind of getting things settled. Georgia at Florida State. Miami at Ole Miss. Miami at Ole Miss could be something if they get it going with Jay Lucas down there. Still, you just heard the way I talked about the games and that's not just homer bias. You heard the way I talked about the teams involving the triangle schools. Mm-hmm. If I lived in Nevada, I'd be looking at those 3 going, those are great college basketball matchups, and I'd still be looking at SMU at Vandy going, it's SMU at Vandy. There it is.
It's a Tuesday, the Tuesday, December 2nd, if I remember correctly, is when Duke and Florida play, as well as Kentucky and North Carolina. And again, that's on the same night. That has prime time Tuesday night, no football competition, ESPN, or even put it on ABC and just put that prime spot for college basketball.
I would have been
right
so mad if they did it on a Monday with Monday Night Football or something. They know what they're doing.
Because it's an ESPN property, so they're not going to compete with themselves.
Exactly.
But I love the fact that we're getting some of these matchups on college campuses because we see so much now especially with how net rankings are impacted, whether you're playing away, home, or a neutral site. You're seeing a lot of these big matchups take place on neutral courts. The fact that you're getting these matchups on college campuses, I think, is a great thing.
And because Dennis and I nerd out about it, and some college fans do, there is some complaining amongst ACC fans that a lot of the teams expected to be good for the ACC. We're talking UNC, we're talking State, we're talking Louisville, we're talking SMU was up there last year a bit. Clemson are all on the road in the ACC SEC Challenge. I actually don't hate that. I think there's a certain like building up your scars, like getting battle tested. It's gonna, when the NCAA tournament comes around, you're gonna be going into neutral courts, but having played in raucous away environments helps. And B, it does give you more wiggle room for quad victories. If what was one I just brought up there? Louisville at Arkansas. If Arkansas falls to 32 in the net rankings, if you're playing them at home, that's not a quad 1 game.
Turns into a quad 2.
If you're playing on the road, that is a quad 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you more wiggle room there as far as building up your net rankings. And the ACC just desperately needs good net rankings.
They do.
Just desperately. So I don't hate going on the road as much. Obviously, Duke's hosting Florida. I don't think you have to worry a ton about Florida falling out of the quad 1. And also, Duke has plenty of quad 1 opportunities in their non-conference already. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to add?
I don't.
All right. I have one more here quickly. Shout out to Bill Belichick. Just ESPN put up their 2026 recruiting rankings.
Okay.
UNC's up to 13th in the country.
Okay.
Xavier Griffin Haynes from Rollsville High School.
Yeah.
Top-ranked defensive guy in the class. So that actually, literally that commitment that happened not long ago.
Yeah, 4-star guy. Initially committed to Mac Brown.
Then decommitted, re-upped his commitment, then committed back, whatever it was, a week and a half ago. That literally boosted them up higher in these rankings like that. So keeping really good local talent in the area helps you nationally. So Belichick's kind of getting that cranking a little bit up there, so I want to give a hat tip there. And there you go. Let's dismiss the Dean's List. And let's give you a U.S. Open scoreboard update. Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open. Here's the current leaderboard presented by Wilson Country Club. Leading the way, as everybody predicted, going into the most treacherous major of them all, J.J. Spawn. J.J. Spawn followed up tightly by Thriston Lawrence. J.J. Spawn's a grinder. He's 4 under par. He is in the clubhouse, posted a 66, no bogeys on the day. Unbelievable performance. I'll talk more about that for J.J. Spawn. I don't know who Thriston Lawrence is, and he is in second right now. 3 under, in the clubhouse, posted a 67. It appears as if he is a South American.
Thriston Lawrence.
Thriston. I thought it was Thurston. I've been following, obviously, throughout the day, watching coverage. I thought it was Thurston, just off of quick glances for the first 3 hours. He was climbing up the leaderboard. But it is Thriston Lawrence.
Okay.
He's in a tie for second with some guys that we do know. Sam Burns, Sunjay M are both 3 under, but they are on the course. They are still in their 1s through 6, 1s through 7 holes. So there's a lot of golf for them to play. Lawrence and Spawn are in the clubhouse, as I mentioned. As far as big names go, and near the top, Brooks Koepka's tied for 5th, 2 under through 8. Morikawa's near the top, tied 9th. He is 1 under through 7. Our guy, Raleigh native, UNC former college golfer, Ben Griffin, guy stays hot. He is 1 under, and in the clubhouse, he is in a tie for 9th in the top 10.
Hey, can't complain about having an under par round at the U.S. Open.
Not at all. Speaking of all, for these updates, I just favorite a bunch of the big names. You have heard every favorite that I have that is under par. It is the Koepka, Griffin, Morikawa. Spieth is even through 7. He's tied for 24th. Rahm and Scheffler are 1 over through 7. Justin Thomas, 2 over through 8. DeChambeau, 3 over, and he's done for the day. Hovland, 3 over through 3. Rory, who everybody is interested in, actually started pretty well. He was under par and kind of moving in the right direction. Didn't putt well down the stretch. He's 4 over, done for the day. Phil's 4 over, done for the day. DJ, Dustin Johnson's 4 over through 7. Patrick Cantlay, 6 over. And if you're wondering how aggressive the carnage has gotten, because this is a course, Oakmont is known for its bite. It will, if you're not playing well, it will chew you up and spit you out. A gentleman by the name of Justin Hicks is 14 over par. He is in the clubhouse.
There you go.
I mean, there's some players that we know. Like Justin Lower is a grinder. He's on the tour a lot. in the mix, making cuts. He is 13 over par, done for the day. Shane Lowry is 9 over par, done for the day. That is brutal. I do want to highlight one thing about J.J. Spaun, because this is what it's going to take for you to win the U.S. Open at Oakmont this year. J.J. Spaun had a bogey-free 66. I've talked about how he's 4 under par, and darn near none of the other stars are under par. He made 6 par putts of at least 7 feet.
Oh, okay.
An 11.5-foot par putt, a 16.5-foot par putt, an 8.5-foot par putt, a 7 feet 1 inch, 7 feet 7 inch par putt, 7 feet 9 inch. You are either going to have to be unbelievable on your way to the green, or you're going to have to make up for all those mistakes on the green. To not post a bogey and have that many long par putts is absurd, which also tells everybody behind him, probably not going to go 100% on the tournament from 10 feet away for par. So there's opportunities for you to chase him down. U.S. Open Championship updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by Wilson Country Club. Experience the history of this must-play course. That is Wilson Country Club. This is lovely. All right, you're listening to The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. So not long ago, we heard the House settlement news was finally approved, and players, meaning college athletes, are starting July 1st going to be allowed to receive payments directly from the universities, the colleges that they play for. And we heard, some loose structures that are expected, a little over $20.5 million in total given by each school is allowed to all of their athletes combined. They can divide it up how they see fit with certain parameters. And if you have been listening to our show, there's 2 ways to react to this. One is just super surface level. You just go, finally, players have been it's been deserved, right? Players deserve to get paid, and they will. Awesome. But this is 100% one of those things that the more you think about it, the more you go, I don't know how this is going to go, right? It starts awesome. It starts with this is the equivalent of inviting 18 4-year-olds over to your house with no other parents for a party. It's at first you're just oh, my kid's going to love it. It's going to be so much fun. They're going to make core memories. I can order pizza. And then an hour later you're oh, what if one of them starts crying? And then the next one is oh, I don't know if I've completely tied down all the TVs. What if one of them falls? You know what? The backyard, there's poison ivy back there somewhere. I got some when I was doing yard work the other day, and I'm not gonna be able to watch all 15 plus of these kids when we're in the back, and it just keeps getting worse and worse in your brain. That's what's happening right now with that settlement. At first, it's players getting paid. Hey,
all right, let's go.
This is gonna be great. Players, they're gonna change their lives. Then you're but wait a second, that whole third-party approval of the NIL thing, that's going to be really people are not going to like that very much. And then you keep going and you go, wait a second, wait 1 minute here. What about a team that wants to support their football and basketball teams, and there's another school out there that only wants to support one of them? They're going to have a huge, multi-million-dollar head start in the sport that they choose. Villanova is going to be able to spend $15 million on basketball. Meanwhile, if the defending basketball national champion wants to support their football team at an SEC level, they're only going to be able to spend $1 or $2 million on men's basketball. That doesn't seem fair. Why should Villanova get $14 million more on men's basketball than Florida? That doesn't seem fair. And the more you think about it, it just keeps getting worse. And then it's already being appealed on the basis of it breaking Title IX law, and that's expected to hold back all back pay. So in July 1st, you will be able to pay current athletes, but another part of this settlement were billions of dollars going to athletes that have played previously and were not allowed to benefit off their name, image, and likeness. That's expected to be held back for at least a few months while the the Title IX appeal goes through. And then Ross Dellinger, who is one of my favorite investigative reporters nationally from Yahoo Sports, had the details on basically a hearing that took place this morning. It is the 13th congressional hearing on college sports. Happened at 10 a.m. this morning before a House subcommittee. where the SEC Associate Commissioner was a witness, and his testimony was interesting. But the fact that I want to focus on is the National College Players Association, which I did not know existed, but it is obviously an organization put together to help advocate for the player side of everything in these legal endeavors. They have an executive director named Ramogi Huma. He has some thoughts on the House settlement. Things like the SCORE Act does not include critical, broad-based reform to protect college athletes. Basically,
imagine that.
He started with this thing that was debated between the NCAA and the schools and did not have any representation of the players, doesn't protect the players. It would exclude college athletes from equal rights under antitrust and labor law. This would prevent unionization. Interesting, coming from the National College Athlete Association. But hey, you sort of see what I'm getting at there. The SCORE Act, which is what the House settlement bill is being referred to as, directly imposes a low athlete compensation cap of 22% of revenue. So that $20.5 million we talk about, that revenue share, is estimated to be 22% of revenue on these sports, instead of what just about every pro athlete's compensation is in their CBAs, which is between 48 and 50% of revenue goes to the athletes. And they would like to know why. Why do you get less than half in a near exactly the same business model?
It's like, yeah, why are you limiting my earning potential now?
The SCORE Act, speaking of, would permanently eliminate about $2 billion in athlete NIL payments by gutting NIL collectives, which are the booster-funded organizations that are being essentially done away with because now all NIL endorsement money has to go through a third-party evaluator to make sure it's all market value. So the collectives were never getting market value. They were just giving money for you to play. They were not giving money for you to, build a house. There was no service provided outside of a few philanthropic and like autograph signing level deals. So that's basically they're saying, like, why did, with no representation from the players, are the players now not allowed to make $2 billion that they made last year?
Yeah.
And I've read now 3 bullet points. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the screenshot that Ross Dellinger posted. My point is to say this: every day there's going to be a new complaint. Mm-hmm. Every day there's going to be new red tape. Every day there's going to be a new lawsuit. This is going to take a while.
It's going to get uglier. This whole thing that was designed, this settlement, in order to make things easier, it's not. It's going to get more difficult. I'll still say this: if someone wants to pay you, Tim, to go, I don't know, show up, like be in a couple photos and promote a couple things, do some stuff on social media, and I want to give you $750,000. And then this Deloitte, this third party, says, well, actually, your range of compensation really should fall somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. You'd be like, no, you're not taking $250,000 out of my pocket, because now you're limiting my earning potential, which was the whole thing with NIL, right? Was, hey, don't limit my earning potential. Now you're going to limit people's earning potential. This is like completely backwards to what the whole point of this was.
It very much feels like a settlement where it's like, what if we give you this much money? Like, I'm suing, this is not what's happening, but players were essentially saying, I want X amount of dollars, which is unlimited. And the NCAA is saying, what if we gave you this much lesser amount? Would that be enough to make you stop all this? The only issue was the players were never part of that conversation.
No, they never were.
Schools were like, yeah, I think the players would appreciate that. And it's like, no, you didn't ask them anything. It's really the representation problem that's the issue. And that won't stop until players get a union, and college athletes won't get a union until this is resolved, and this won't be resolved until schools acknowledge that the college athletes are employees, and they won't not acknowledge their employees until this. It's like a never-ending cycle. And it is going to be I don't even know if it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be like a train wreck. Like, I can't take my eyes off it, but I don't want to watch because I know it's not going to, go well for the people involved.
It's like, when's that first lawsuit come in?
My guess is it's already being filed.
Yeah. It's like, wait a second.
They're deciding which state is the best one based on state law to file it in. They're deciding which player is the most high-profile one that is willing to put their name on it. There's trust me, lawyers are not, they're circling like vultures, waiting to find a way to put their name on this because it's a high-profile case and it does well for those. For sure. It's gonna be exciting. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What else is exciting? Minicamps. Dennis Cox was there yesterday at Panthers minicamp. What did he see? You're gonna have to stick around to find that out.
Golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the U.S. Open from Oakmont Country Club. Find out if Bryce and DeChambeau can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Champions Trophy. Coverage of the U.S. Open on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by Wilson Country Club. Experience the rich history of this must-play course.
Celebrate 50 years of adventure at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Enjoy award-winning performances and European-inspired attractions. Feel the excitement of thrilling rides like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge, now open. And seasonal events like the Food and Wine Festival, where you can taste, sip, and savor more than 150 flavors from around the world, featuring over 80 new menu items. Only at the world's most beautiful theme park. Get limited time deals at buschgardens.com.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Here we go. NASCAR makes history on Prime as the Cup Series goes international. We're headed to Mexico City for a road course with all new challenges. 14 turns with 7,000 feet of altitude.
White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Don't miss the first ever points-paying Cup Series race in Mexico. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Track's clear. We're good to go.
NASCAR. It's on Prime.
It is Men's Health Month. I'm Tim Donnelly, joined by Dr. Katie Rains, urologist at Wake Med, having some questions answered. Doctor, why does someone get a kidney stone, and are there any prevention tips that you can pass along?
There are many reasons why someone would get a kidney stone, the most common being dehydration, because it's all about the concentration of minerals in your urine. So if you have less fluid, then you're going to have a higher concentration of things that form stones. Other risk factors are dietary things, like if you're eating too much salt in your diet or you have high animal protein in your diet. Another component of stones is something called oxalate, which is found in green leafy vegetables like spinach, nuts, chocolate, and berries. So really hydrating is the number one thing you can do to help prevent kidney stones, especially somewhere like North Carolina where it gets humid quickly and you may be sweating more than you anticipate. So staying well hydrated really is the best way to keep yourself without kidney stones.
For more information, please visit wakemed.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Just a couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening. Hot, though, with a high of 91. Overnight lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow we'll have a better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and evening. That'll keep our temperatures slightly cooler. We'll see a high of 86.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 101 points to 42,967.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
Football at 4 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Every day, 4 o'clock, we talk pigskin. You can set your watch by it. And that's easier some days than other. Today, it's easy. Today's the last day. It was the last day earlier. The last practice of a 3-day minicamp, mandatory minicamp for the Carolina Panthers. Dennis was at practice number 2 yesterday, and we're going to hear his insight. But starting on day 1, I said there were 2 things to track, 2 things that actually mattered, like the most, and they were attendance and major injuries, right? If you're dropping passes or whatever in minicamp, we've seen it like Jamar Chase dropped everything in minicamp, and then he went on to have one of the best rookie seasons we've seen. So like that stuff, what happens in minicamp stays in minicamp. The issue is
June is June.
The issue is like you blow out a knee in minicamp, that doesn't stay in minicamp. That extends. So I believe the Canes had pretty much full attendance. Or the Panthers had pretty much full attendance. And I should just call them both Carolina. Then it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
The Panthers had pretty much full attendance, and as they put a wrap on today's practice, they appeared to avoid any serious injuries. There were some boo-boos, some owies, but nothing that they would expect to extend beyond, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the biggest one of the people not practicing, Teteroa McMillan, who got spokesperson as well as Canales said after yesterday's practice that he got kicked, I guess, when he was going for a ball, was down on the ground, got accidentally kicked and, collided a little bit with a defensive back, and there was a little bit of swelling in his leg as a result from it. So they just say, you know what? Just have a seat. It's all good. He was still at practice. We saw him walking around and all that yesterday, but obviously didn't participate. And a couple guys got vet days, like Adam Thielen had a vet day yesterday.
J.C. Horn
as well.
I think that's a $100 million vet day.
Yeah,
pretty much. If we're paying you $100 million and you need all 3 mini camps, something's wrong. So just take one off.
And Derek Brown just doing some of the individual stuff, never did any of the team activities, those kinds of things, as he's working back from his knee injury that he had last season.
So those were the 2 things that I was tracking. Dennis, you were there. Let's go count down from 3. 3, 2, 1. Things that stood out to you, things that right, if you bumped into a Panther fan and they said, you were at minicamp? All right, give me the down low. What are that's how they talk, right?
Yeah.
Give me the skinny. What's the haps? What's the happening? What are the 3 things you're telling them?
Third thing, I'll go number 3 on this one. You could tell the chemistry was there, building off of last season. And this is something that we have talked about a bunch, about the continuity from last year to this year, especially on offense, when you have 9 of your top offensive linemen back. You have, obviously, both your QBs, 2 of your tight ends, 4 of your wide receivers, your running back, and your head coach / play caller. Everything kind of picked up.
1 tight end at minicamp, right?
Yes, because Tommy Tremble with the back injury, but nonetheless, like we talked about the continuity as a whole. But you could see the chemistry during, especially on 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills yesterday, when Bryce Young and his receiving core and just everyone just being on the same page. Having watched going to last year's training camp, I was like, oh, they're already ahead of last year's training camp, which was the thing that kind of like stood out to me. It's like, oh, you guys picked up where you left off. There's a couple plays, like for example, there's a David Moore touchdown on a goal line play that they ran, and Bryce Young hit him on a slant route. I was like, oh yeah, I saw that, I think, if I remember correctly, against Arizona last year, or maybe it was against Tampa, one or the other. But I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen that before already from these guys. That's the biggest thing that one of the big 3 things that stood out to me was that.
I thought it was funny, and today actually in an interview or a media scrum, I have Travis Etienne written in my. I'm going to do that a billion times. Trevor Etienne, the 4th round rookie running back for the Panthers, was asked what he learned like through minicamp, and his answer started with, "I learned I didn't know as much about football as I thought I did." I actually think having everyone back and almost starting on like page 10 rather than like last year, you got to start on page 1, right? You start with terminology. You got to start with where to line up. I think that's a better way to learn. I've always said it's like just have the treadmill set fast and have the rookies try to jump on, and they'll make mistakes, but they'll catch up eventually. I think because like my first thought is you bring up all the continuity, and I go, everyone's cranking, right? Like, why wouldn't Bryce be out there checking plays in 7-on-7? Like, if it's what you're going to do in a game, practice it, right? Teteroa McMillan might be out there like, whoa, guys, hey, don't know what that was.
Huh?
But I actually think it's better for the rookies to be thrown there and basically sink or swim. Like, because then Bryce comes over and he goes, hey, man, when I say, Ralphie, that means do this. And that's better than, learning it in a classroom slowly. And all right, is everybody ready to run Ralphie? Like he's just going to remember it from the beginning. So I actually like that. What's number 2?
Oh, well, I was a couple sound bites here. I asked Dave Canales about that continuity yesterday, and this is what he had to say.
It's huge because you come into the offseason and we're not teaching words. For the first 3 weeks, the last 2 years in Tampa, then here last year, you're teaching language, you're teaching vocabulary. And so we come into the spring starting there. Then now we could do is dig into formations, different personnels, where the guys understand the concepts of what we're doing, and now it can be more attacking and more versatile.
There is, I am somebody. Let me just rewind here, because he talked about not having to explain words and not having to explain language. I get very frustrated, right? I played college football, and we had the play calls, right? We had the, right Rob, X under, Spider 2Y banana, like all the stuff that Drew Brees really liked to show off. Maybe not that long, but we had long play calls. I get really frustrated when athletes try to flex on like media members, and they go like, "Oh, you think it's the play calls are easy? Here, remember, say this back to me," and then they go, right trips, Z under, X Falcon, because they don't know the language, right? That's like going up to somebody and saying like, I speak Spanish. Here, let me see if you can do it. And then you just say a sentence in Spanish. That could be as simple as anything. But of course, people that don't speak Spanish aren't going to say it. Like they have no meaning attached to the words. It really is. When you are learning a new offense, for some reason we call it terminology in football. It is just a language. Like when Dave Canales says to Bryce Young, like, what didn't you like about the Oklahoma? That's not like gibberish to them. They don't think Oklahoma. They think as soon as you say Oklahoma, that means like a deep post and a dig or whatever their route concept is. They think it's language. So when you are in a new offense, it really is learning a new language, unless, right? Have you ever had someone like try to learn Italian after learning Spanish, and they're like, "Oh, it's like 50%. It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's like 50% the same." Like if you go from like a McDaniels to a Shanahan offense, it's like Spanish to Italian. Like I already know most of this. So there's differences there, but it is very good to not have to speak in that term. You know what we're going to do? We're going to push this till after the break.
Oh, okay.
This is a tease, ladies and gentlemen. That was number 3, right? Do we still have 2 and 1?
We have 2 and 1.
All right, we'll get to basically I talked too much there, so shout out to that. Number 2 and number 1 observations from minicamp day 2. Dennis was out there in Charlotte. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Right now, I need plenty of time to tell you about Maynard Service Company. Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Dennis, was it really hot out there? Was it? It looked hot, I'll tell you that. It looked like the players were working hard. They probably loved walking into the air conditioning. And that's what Maynard Service Company can provide for you. Cooling, heating, plumbing, electric. Actually, this is not a joke. This is not made up for this read. My mom's watching the kids today. A little babysitting action. Grammy's taking the kids today. And she left a message on my phone today when I was in a meeting. How do you get the fan on your air conditioner to start? It's real hot in here. Luckily, she figured it out. Way to go, Grammy. But how bummer would it be if our air conditioner broke, right? She would have been real upset. And I would have simply said, hold on, let me call Maynard Service Company. They can take care of your cooling system, your HVAC, right? That's how it works into your life. The moments you don't expect, you have the babysitter. You're somewhere, all right, let me just call Maynard Service Company. They can take care of it. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Obviously right now, with the way the weather's going, it's actually raining outside. But with the way the weather's going over the next month or two, it's going to get hot. Cooling is going to be important. You're going to want Maynard Service Company's number saved in your phone. So here it is, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or check them out online for more interest in their services. MaynardServices.com. MAYNOR Services.com. The number 2 and number 1 biggest takeaways from minicamp yesterday for Dennis, who saw it in person. Coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Red Sox rookie pitcher Hunter Dobbins. Quote, if the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I'd retire.
I respect it.
I feel the same way. If this show didn't make it and the only job I could get in media was as the Rams team reporter, I would become a barista.
I love it, Smalls. I love it.
Before I would ever take a check from those people.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain. I said, sure don't. I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Something amazing is happening here. Scientists are using AI to study how whales talk to each other. CDW experts can give researchers the power to process complex data with HP workstations, advanced by AMD Ryzen Threadripper Pro processors. With easier handling of AI workloads, your organization can bring powerful insights to the surface. Make amazing happen. HP, AMD, and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/HPAMD.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. And as you know, here in North Carolina, summer's heat up. And so are those deals at the Clayton Homes Sign and Save event. Right now, you can save up to $5,000 instantly on a brand new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. And you know these homes are built tough in state-of-the-art facilities that protect them during construction. And you know every home is loaded with Energy Smart features, giving you comfort, efficiency, and long-term savings. And with tons of floor plans and fully furnished models, it's easy to find your perfect match. Visit your local Clayton Homes or Oakwood Homes or check out limited time offers now at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. But don't wait. The Clayton Homes Sign and Save event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster, and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, everybody. Yesterday, Dennis was up in Charlotte. He was taking in minicamp for the Carolina Panthers. Before the break, we heard the number 3 takeaway. We still have number 2 and number 1 to get to. Number 3 being familiarity and camaraderie and chemistry.
Yes,
with the
chemistry.
Team. What is number 2, Dennis?
Number 2, Trayvon Merrick, the safety that they signed from the Las Vegas Raiders, one of their big free agent acquisitions this past, or I guess during the offseason back in March. Trayvon Merrick, to me, stood out in a very, very positive way. Had an interception on Bryce Young early in the practice, but also, what was he known for, Tim, during his time with the Raiders? known for coming up and making plays in the run game, up at the line of scrimmage, and you could see his reaction and his ability to sniff out running plays and always found himself in the right spot. Again, these guys aren't wearing pads, but still the play recognition was there, and he was able to get to the spots up towards the line of scrimmage and be aggressive. For a team that finished dead last by 1.5 miles in rushing last season as a defense, he's going to be a tremendous part of that. He stood out to me in a very, very positive way multiple times.
It's probably difficult for him to stand out with helmets on without full pads because he is such a physical player. So, the fact that he popped is good. I think he needs to get his hands on the ball more. That's the thing that I'm very confident in everything you just described. I think he knows how to run fit darn near like a linebacker. I think he can bring the physicality. But the only thing that I think the Panthers need from him that he hasn't shown tremendously the ability to do is he's played 66 games. He has 6 forced turnovers, 6 interceptions, no forced fumbles. So this is that's all I'm asking for from him. But he got an interception on Bryce Young. Hopefully it was the kind that was like better defense than offense rather than the kind that was, bad offense leads to interceptions for the defense.
I think it was good defense.
Okay,
in my mind, it was good defense. And Dave Canales was asked about Trayvon Merrick and how he can be used in multiple ways.
He's kind of versatile. He gives us the opportunity really to do a lot of things. We can blitz him. We can play him in the back half. We can play him at linebacker. We can play him at nickel. So, and you just saw that play. He read it, saw it early, came and made a great play on a middle screen. And those are the type of things we're hoping for out of him. And the more comfortable he gets, the more we can use him in different spots.
He and Dan Morgan, when he was on this show, have championed Trayvon Merrick's versatility. And, if they're right and kind of they're like, we've got a secret, he's actually a really good center field safety in addition to being a great box safety, then that's massive for the future of that defense.
By the way, also as well, Lathan Ransom, the 4th-round pick out of Ohio State, made a couple good plays on the ball as well yesterday as well, which was nice to see.
That's good to hear also because the rap on him is similar, like physical, big dude, brings physicality, maybe not with all the ball skills. So if he's making plays on the ball, I like that as well. And you're ready for our very thrown together drum roll for number 1? That is me banging on the desk. Go ahead.
Xavier Legette.
Oh, interesting.
Xavier Legette. He popped out in a good way yesterday.
Give me more. Explain that.
So what was his big problem last year? Was catching, correct? Well, that was one of his biggest issues last year.
Yes.
Was consistency with his hands. He tried to trap the ball with his body a lot. We saw that a ton last year. And I think it's also, dealing with a wrist injury that was kind of lingering for a little bit, but also maybe it's just confidence. We actually saw some times last year where he's open and he would kind of jump up to make a catch, even though he didn't need to, because it felt like he got to secure the ball. Yesterday, he was making catches, including difficult ones. Actually, a video of it that I posted on social media as well of him actually skying up and making a one-handed catch along the sideline during one-on-one drills. Not one-on-one, but individual drills. And it's you never saw anything like that from him last year. But there was late in 11-on-11s yesterday that he made 2 catches in the end zone from Bryce Young. And one of them was probably about 15 or so yards out as a red zone play where he actually broke off of his route because Bryce Young had to scramble and made a clean catch in the back of the end zone with his hands. And then they ran a 2-point play right after that. Legette right there in the back of the end zone again. Bryce Young fits it in a tight window, had to rip this one through. Clean catch with his hands. And it's there it is. The consistency of just actually catching the ball. I mean, the size and the speed and everything all popped like it normally does, but it was noticeable in a good way yesterday.
The hilarity of that, and I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, is we're year 2 for a first-round wide receiver is he's catching it with his hands.
You'd be shocked.
You kind of wish you would have shown up doing that, considering we drafted you 32nd overall. But I guess better late than never. The project, I guess, would be the way to describe him. And if he's getting to the next stages, that's pretty darn good. It may have been a little tiny blessing in disguise for Legette that McMillan didn't play yesterday or today, because that's target's got to go somewhere. More reps with Bryce got to go somewhere.
So yesterday, McMillan didn't practice. Adam Thielen didn't practice. Jimmy Horn's dealing with an injury, so he didn't practice. So the guys that were back from last year Jalen Coker, Leggett, David Moore, like those guys all back, and then you add Hunter Renfrow into the mix. Those guys were getting a bulk of the work with Bryce Young, I would say, yesterday. And by the way, real quick, Jalen Coker, I had a chance to talk with him one-on-one yesterday. That dude slimmed down a little bit, looks quicker.
Coker is we're going to talk about Coker later on, but I'll just kind of preview what that conversation is going to be. Jalen Coker is the exact reason. He's like the perfect example of how tough it is to make it in the NFL as an undrafted free agent. Because he has done everything right. He's impressed at every single opportunity he's been given, and he still finds himself, for a multitude of reasons that are both unique to the NFL and kind of unique or general truths in all of life, he finds himself having to scratch and claw again for every opportunity. Because first-round picks get a billion opportunities, and veterans get a billion opportunities, and he's in a battle for a roster spot. And at times he was their best wide receiver last year, which is just so tough, but that's the life of an undrafted guy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you very much to Dennis for passing along those thoughts. We'll continue to grab some info from you as the show goes along. But right now, we're adversaries. No more thank yous, because it's time for the ladder challenge. There we go. So I'll just get out of the way. It's been a while since we've had one of our month-long.
Yeah, it was Monday.
I'm back to $10. I had Leon Draisaitl 4 more shots on goal in that 6-1 loss for the Oilers. He finished with a grand total of 0 shots on goal.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
It was like, my guess is he somehow got to the ice with like 2 left skates. Like, it was just one of those days. Things didn't go well for the Oilers. And I wish they would have told me it was going to go like that before I bet on you. But I'm back down to $10. Lost whatever it was, $35 I had. Dennis, how's it looking for you?
So I had Sam Reinhart, anytime goal scorer for the Florida Panthers in Game 3 at plus 195. Hit that. So my $22.48 turned into $66.31.
Everybody had an opportunity to score in that one. All right, you're leading, so go ahead and lead off with today's pick.
So I was kind of contemplating. I was like, how much am I willing to go? Because I understood that you had lost. So I was like, okay, well, how far am I willing to go? Do I go with like an easy bet? Do I go with like a shots on goal that might be easy? Do I go for like a minus 150 or something along those lines? I was like, you know what? I might play this one a little bit safe.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to play this one a little bit safe. I'm going to go.
That's the whole crowd booing you.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'm maintaining my lead. So my 66.
Their booze.
Yeah, that's fine. That's you know what? I'll maintain my lead. I'm going to go Connor McDavid 2+ shots on goal, because you want to talk about a player that needs to get stuff done tonight. It's Connor McDavid. So give me Connor McDavid 2+ shots on goal. So my $66.21 will turn into tonight $73.56 by the end of the evening.
So I'm obviously being a little bit more aggressive.
The minus 900, by the way.
I'm gonna make up some ground here. I'm going with the Oilers to win in regulation. So obviously no overtime. That'd be a loss for me. Plus 200 would turn my $10 into $30. I agree that it is a game where McDavid needs to get going.
Yeah.
One of my favorite McDavid clips isn't even like a hockey clip. It's him in the locker room last year where he was screaming at his teammates. I think there might be some McDavid screaming in the locker room to implore the Oilers to not get pushed around. And then also some fancy footwork out there from McDavid, either leading to a goal for him or one of his teammates. It'll turn my $10 into $30 as I try to chase Dennis down here a little bit. Plus 200 is my the odds.
Because they have to win in regulation?
They have to win in regulation.
Oh, okay. So no overtime tonight.
No, overtime's a loss.
Yeah.
You're first or last. There's no ties. You don't get excited for tying at the end of 3 periods. You got 3 periods to win, McDavid. Go do it. You want to be an all-time great? By the way, John Buccigross has done this a few times on TV. Obviously, if you know hockey, you know Bucci. It is absurd how much, I don't think people realize McDavid is so far and away the best player to have not won a title, ever. Every player that's reached how great he is has won probably multiple titles well before they got to this point in their career. He is not just like, because that happens in golf, right? Ironically, because we're about to talk about the U.S. Open. It happens in golf a lot where everybody knows who's the best player to have never won a major. And when that person wins, it immediately gets transferred. Connor McDavid is the best player to have not won a championship ever. Like, not saying other players aren't great, but like I'm trying to think of the way to describe it. Buccigross does a great job. I don't know why I'm trying to like redo it. It's like trying to tell a stand-up comedian's joke. But where he is right now, like all of the people that have been great, as great as he is, had already won. It's kind of insane. So I think he's going to have a renewed sense of ferocity tonight. And with that comes a win for the Oilers in regulation. That's what I'm getting at. And that's the ladder challenge. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now I did promise U.S. Open updates, so let's get to that as well. U.S. Open scoreboard update. Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open. Here's the current leaderboard presented by Wilson Country Club. You know who's at the top. Like I said earlier, we all expected it, and we're just going to act like we predicted it. J.J. Spawn had a bogey-free 66 to open things up. He is alone in the lead at 4 under par, the 4 under 66. Thriston Lawrence, Sunjay M., and Rasmus. Right. You know somebody has a long name when you're watching you're on the leaderboard and you have to click expand to see it. Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. Those are the 3 tied for second right now. Thriston Lawrence, who looks like a South African. I did not know who he was. Sunjay M., who everybody knows, he's a legendary grinder. And Rasmus Niergaard Peterson. Did not know who he is. They are all tied for second right now at 3 under par. Lawrence is done for the day. He shot a 67. M and Niergaard Peterson are both still on the course, still on their front 9. So a lot of golf left to be played. If you're looking for the big names elsewhere, Brooks Koepka has fallen down to a tied for 8th. He was higher earlier. He is 1 under par through 10. Ben Griffin, former Tar Heel, Raleigh native, he is done for the day, 1 under par, tied for 8th. Spieth and Morikawa are even through 9, tied in 18th, and it gets uglier from there. Rahm, 1 over par through 9, tied for 35th. Hovland, 2 over par through 9, tied for 55th, with Scotty Scheffler, both 2 over par through 9. Bryce and DeChambeau done for the day, 3 over par. Rory McIlroy done for the day, 4 over par. They're both outside the top 70. Phil Mickelson, 4 over par. Cam Smith, 5 over par. He's outside the top 100. Justin Thomas, 5 over par through 10. He's outside the top 100. Patrick Cantlay, outside the top 115. He's in a tie for 116th at 6 over par. The carnage is starting to add up at one of the tougher courses that the U.S. Open travels to, and that would be Oakmont up there in, I believe, Pennsylvania. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was a U.S. Open Championship. Updates on the U.S. Open Championship on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by Wilson Country Club. Experience the history of this must-play course. Dennis, let's talk. Oh. There you go. Got to give time for some practice swings. Let's talk Panthers cons and cons, shall we? Stay in the minicamp mode.
Play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
We've seen OTAs, we've seen minicamps, we've seen the draft, we've seen free agency. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about for the Carolina Panthers? Hey, I've got good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news, so we start with the concerns. Dennis, why don't you lead off? What are you most concerned about?
Depth in the secondary. I think they're top 3 guys with J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson on the outside, and Shaw Smith-Wade as the slot nickel corner. I feel good about those 3. I really do. I feel good about Trayvon Merrick. The question is, what are the other pieces around there? Where's the depth on there? Like, is it Shamar Bartholomew? Is it your backup corner that we know J.C. Horn's injury history? Like, or do you trust that person? Who's the backup nickel corner? Do you trust that person? I don't know if those guys are on the roster. It looks like Damani Richardson, the undrafted rookie, or the undrafted player that was a rookie last season, undrafted free agent, was running with the first unit yesterday when I saw them at practice. But does Lathan Ransom step up and be that safety as well that can start alongside Trayvon Merrick? But again, where's the depth on things as well? Nick Scott's a special teams guy, but that's my big concern, depth in the secondary.
I'm going maybe a little, I don't know, it's not off the beaten path for sure. It's on Main Street, but it might be a little controversial here. My concern is Bryce Young.
Okay.
I think the immediate, I don't like the crowning, I don't know what the word is getting a little quick. I still think you need to bring him along slowly. And I think if you put too much on his plate, especially early in the season, it can backfire on you quickly. I went back yesterday and I watched the whatever. There was a YouTube cut up of basically every offensive play from the Saints game, the first game of the season, because I wanted to go see like how bad was it really. First of all, yes, very bad. But it reminded me of their very first play call, the interception, right? So Derek Carr looks like an MVP. They score first drive. The first play of the game was an interception from Bryce Young, and it spiraled from there. And I forgot how much I hated that play call. It was a play action where he took he had to face his back to the defense, take his eyes off everything, flip around. There's a deep crosser. He air mailed it. And all I could think was, this was a young quarterback coming off an awful rookie season. Like, get the guy a guaranteed completion. Give him a swing pass to Chuba Hubbard, right? Get him a now screen to Adam Thielen. Just let him see him catch it. And what I think it ended up being was the play caller, as a new head coach, probably had a little too much confidence in his young quarterback. Like, thought he was, as a compliment to Bryce Young, like, he's ready for everything. Hey, you thirsty? Here's the fire hose. And I think it should have been reeled back a little bit and then eased in. And then, obviously, by the end of the season, he might have been able to handle more. And I'm just getting similar vibes again, where, like, everything said about Bryce is, it's awesome, it's great, he's ready, it's a different Bryce, it's a great Bryce, it's a great Bryce. And I'm going, like, it might be. I'd still like to bring him along slowly. I'd still like for the first play of the game. How about this for a first play of the game? A handoff, right? Like, how about, I don't want to give him too much too soon. So, and especially now that you have Tedero McMillan, and Dennis brought up that Xavier Legette is looking like a much improved player. There's going to be a real temptation to be like, we've got these Lamborghinis, let's floor it. When I'm going like, well, how about we take a lap, 50 miles an hour, get used to it, right? Warm up the tires a bit, and then we can fire. Maybe. So I'm a little concerned that like the confidence. You want to be confident in Bryce. I don't know, like, that's why I don't know what the word is. The flooding of confidence of Bryce is getting a little high, right? Like, as great as he is and as good as he was at the end of last year, and as much as he seems to have improved and he's confident and everything else, he's not like Patrick Mahomes yet, right? You don't want to go out there and give him too much too soon. That's my point. What's your confidence, Dennis? This is more fun.
Yeah, confidence is much more fun. My confidence is actually, it's weird to say this, the defensive line. it's
mine's similar.
I would say like the interior defensive line, because of all the bodies and everyone that they added. I will say Cam Jackson, their 5th-round pick from Florida, massive human being. Bobby Brown III, they signed from the Los Angeles Rams, massive human being. But also watching these guys work out, and even on 11-on-11 drills, you can see the quickness as well. And there's depth that where you have Derek Brown back, those two guys I just mentioned, Tershawn Wharton they just brought in, A'Shawn Robinson's back. There's a lot of guys that you can rotate in and out, and there's a couple of undrafted guys that the team feels really high about as well. So I think it's actually interior defensive line depth, which is something that was not a thing that existed last season.
Almost identical. Mine is stopping the run in the middle with the defensive line. Mm-hmm. And I wrote down weights. Turk Wharton is 280. He's kind of playing an end. Bobby Jones is 332. And this is listed weights. And I'll just let you know, as much as we would love for everybody to list like 245, NFL athletes don't usually love that. So their listed weight, like on ESPN, is usually, post-workout, right? They've been eating healthy for a couple weeks. Like, it's usually a little lower. It's the opposite of the NBA, right? NBA, everyone's like, I'm brolic, I'm huge. Nah, I see you, Chet Holmgren. You're not that bulky. But Turk Wharton, 280. Bobby Jones, who you mentioned, 332. The rookie Cam Jackson, 328. Derek Brown, 320. Shai Tuttle, 300. A'Shawn Robinson, 320. Even somebody like LeBrian Ray, who's going to be playing, again, some of that end position, 290. Like, there's a lot of weight, right? And it's those guys are going to follow in the path of a Derek Brown. Derek Brown, all the tackles he made, unbelievable. But another thing he does is just he gets double teamed and doesn't move, which helps everybody. Like, you just occupy blockers. I would say Bobby Jones for sure, Derek Brown for sure, A'Shawn Robinson for sure. You'd hope Cam Jackson.
Hey, Bobby Jones, Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Why am I saying Bobby Jones?
I don't know.
Pat Jones,
Pat
maybe?
Jones?
I'm confusing the two new guys. That's Pat Brown. Cam Jackson, the rookie, you would hope at 328 he could do it. These are all guys that can eat up double teams.
Oh, yeah.
That's massively advantageous for a linebacker core and for pass rushers who, if you want to have your better pass rushers on the field, usually they're not as great against the run. So if you can guarantee that the run's being gobbled up by the big dudes in the middle, it kind of gives you more leeway to have your better pin your ears back guys on the outside.
Yeah, and even like Tershawn Wharton was best known for being a pass rusher, even as a defensive lineman with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's great because you can use these guys in different situations. And Bobby Brown and Cam Jackson, those are actually true nose tackles, guys that just plug the middle of the field. It's like, good luck moving those guys.
It's the Haloti Ngata, the Vita Vea, the just big dude right over the center, shading to a guard who's just
the Vince Wilforks of the world. Casey Hampton
squats a stupid amount of weight. The bar is bending. Yeah, Vince Wilfork. Think Vince Wilfork in a cowboy hat and overalls, because that's all I think of from HBO Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Wilfork was a monster. And wildly athletic. The rumors were that he was like a decent dunker. Like
I believe it.
That makes no. I mean, I believe it because it's been said enough, but that's physically. My like 8th grade science teacher is telling me that's not possible. Weight to force ratio, but somehow we did it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a feedback frenzy coming up. We'll hear from many of you, your feedback from the internet. But first, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to pass along.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, you're maxed out on your credit cards. Maybe you're struggling with high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen. Your home equity, it's yours. It belongs to you. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now to get the conversation started. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan gets to a feedback frenzy. Your comments online, brought on air. Next.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your independent terrain dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This isn't for right now, but this is something that I think we may talk about later. Oklahoma's athletic director has revealed in one of their Board of Regents meetings, so we're talking like the Boomer Sooners, that there are 6 sports that they will be sharing revenue with. 6. And he lists what they are: football, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, and women's gymnastics. So it appears as if Oklahoma is not expecting to share any of their revenue or pay players in any of their other sports, right? So track and field, the soccers, the volleyballs, none of those will be being paid by the school, at least. Obviously, NIL stuff can still be taken care of. So I put this out on my Twitter, and if you want to go respond, that's great. If you want to just think about it, if you want to respond in our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan, you can go to the live stream. Might be a conversation for later today, maybe later in the week. But if you're a fan of the schools we care about, right? We're talking the Triangle schools: Duke, UNC, Carolina, NC State. I said UNC and Carolina. Wake Forest, right? Whatever it is. How many and which sports do you want to share revenue with? Because that is would you be excited if your athletic director came out and said these 6 schools and listed those? Because, I mean, obviously a school like UNC, field hockey, women's soccer, they're winning national championships. They're going to probably expect some revenue share. But obviously, you know, the way the cap works in this new system, every dollar spent on those sports is one that doesn't go to others, right? So if you're spending a lot of money on field hockey, that money's not going to be there for football or men's and women's basketball or women's soccer. So do you try to pay, revenue share with 15 sports, or do you try to revenue share with 4 and let the others fend for themselves? It becomes a much different place, because let's not pretend like Oklahoma is some ragtag organization. It's not some mid-major making do. They're Oklahoma. So I did ask the question, and I'm hoping some of you will go in there and answer and say, like, I'm an NC State fan, and here are the 7 sports I hope they share with. and name the sports. That's kind of what I'm getting at there. We'll see. We will see. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And speaking of, right, that's one form of feedback. If you answer questions that we ask, you can also jump into our videos on YouTube and comment. You can go to our TikTok. You can go to all these different social medias that we have. 99.9 The Fan is the handle on pretty much all of them. And leave comments, and you might just hear them during a feedback frenzy, which is what's going on right now.
All right, this actually came from Comebread, actually earlier today when we were talking about the Carolina Hurricanes. Comebread said, thoughts on using Nadeau, Bradley Nadeau, Scott Morrow, Jackson Blake, or another prospect as trade chips for the Carolina Hurricanes. He also did add this as well, that he doesn't want to see the Carolina Hurricanes make trades or spend money just for the sake of doing so. He obviously wants smart moves that fit the team well.
Sure. Yeah. Which, by the way, does happen in sports. They do.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think it happens more often when there's one specific like crown jewel you're chasing and you miss out on it. Then you pivot and you overspend elsewhere. It's really tough. Like the example I always use was, I think it was the Kevin Durant offseason where he went to the Warriors because everybody suddenly had right. Remember the TV money hit and the NBA salary cap bloated. And everybody had all this extra money, and everybody wanted KD, and he went to the Warriors. If I'm not mistaken, it was that same offseason where the Lakers gave like $90 million over 3 years to Luol Deng, and no disrespect to him, but this was past the point where he was an all-star. And Timothy Mozgov got like $84 million from the Lakers, and it was purely, very obviously, they had stashed away a bunch of money for like Kevin Durant, and when he didn't choose them, they were like, somebody take it, and just threw it. Don't do that. I'm with you on there. As far as the prospects go, so it was the Cam and Strick podcast I just listened to today. Rod Brindamore was on it for a long time. It was like an hour-long conversation. You notice the groups he mentions? Jackson Blake, I think Rod is very, very high on Jackson Blake. When he's telling the story and he just wants to talk about like the good guys, right? He'll go like, there's Aho, there's Jarvis, there's Blake. Hey, there's Slavo, there's Bernsey, there's Blake. I'm like, oh, you're okay. Blake is right there in like your favorite guys. So I don't think Blake is going anywhere unless the return is big. And I guess that's my response for all of it. Like, I'm cool moving anybody outside of a few non-negotiables for the right player, right? Like, yeah, would I love to see Nadeau and Morrow go? No, but if it brings back somebody that's awesome, I can make do, right? I'll use this example. I was talking about it with Dennis earlier. Who's the guy that was traded in the Gensel deal?
Vasily Ponomarev.
There you go. I want to call him Pono, which is
it's also Michael Bunting, but yes.
Friend I have. Never mind. Ponomarev just signed a 3-year deal with the KHL. Remember when he was brought up? It was really he scored in his first game or something, right? This was 2 years ago, or maybe it was, I forget when it was. But he was like a decent prospect, and people were excited about him. And there was like a call up, right? There was a whole story where he found out at like 11 a.m. He had to be there at 3 or something, and he was flying. It was a whole thing. You traded him away, and I'm sure there were some fans like, oh, that was a guy I thought was going to be a part of the future. Signed a 3-year deal to play in Russia. Like prospects are never sure things. If you can trade prospects for sure thing studs, I'm usually going to find a way to be okay with it.
I think Blake could be part of a deal, potentially, just for the simple fact that, all right, that guy can play 82 games in a regular season. He's done it already, 17 goals, 17 assists. It's like, the better he gets, he might be a 20-plus goal guy. So, yeah, I could see a team going after him for sure.
Watching Rod's eyes light up, it would have to be for somebody who's going to make his eyes light up even more. So it'd have to be like a serious deal.
All right, along that same conversation that we had, this actually comes from, it's CK. Jason Robertson, better than Mitch Marner.
I think it's hard to say. I mean, it's so hard. What I will say is and this is, I've been on the record saying I want Robertson. I think Robertson's a better fit for what the Canes need, except for Marner does play center. And I think the Canes need that position more. So it's like if you get Robertson, you still have another chore. If you get Marner, then you can move to like best player available. There's you've checked more boxes. But I have also said this from the beginning, which is why, I'm greedy. I want the best of the best. I won't settle for anything. I'm going full Eric Tulsky. I will not stop till we have the 20 best players on our roster. I think there are potentially 2 avenues for the Canes to address stars. Go get stars this offseason. I think they can go get one in free agency because they have a bunch of cap space, and they can go get one in a trade because they have a bunch of prospects and picks to move. Robertson would have to be a trade, and Marner would have to be a free agency. So I don't know if you're choosing between those two, aside from the fact that you're eventually going to have to pay them, and Robertson doesn't have a ton of control, meaning term left. But, I mean, it's the offseason, man. Let's get crazy. Why are you making me pick between the two? I want both. That's my official stance.
I don't know if you can afford both, but you never know.
I mean, you'd have to move something. Take Kokiniemi in the Robertson deal. We can clear some cap space.
Yeah.
Be creative.
Some ways to work around that.
It's the offseason. Don't use your logic.
I know. All right. July 1st. It's almost here. All right. Yesterday, you guys had a conversation about Bryce Young. Like, is he going to take a major leap in 2025? This one comes from Prodigy. Bryce so far has still played more really bad football than good football.
Correct.
He still has to prove himself.
Yes, with context. I don't disagree that he has played more bad football than good football. I also think he has played significantly more games in really bad situations than he's played games in good situations. So it's, what is it, causal or is it correlative, right? Is there something else that caused him to play bad games, or was he playing bad games kind of independent of the situation? If you put a rookie quarterback behind a bad offensive line, you're not going to get a lot of good games unless that player is, generational, which Bryce is not. I think that much is proven, right? He's not going to be, the best quarterback in the league. He can still be a really good quarterback, but it's situational. You need to put some things around him, and the Panthers weren't built for him. I'm still optimistic about Bryce, but I am also of the belief that he is still very much a work in progress and needs to have help as he gets to his ceiling.
All right, you guys had a conversation yesterday about Jesperi Kokiniemi.
KK, yes,
This one comes from Mark. Kokiniemi is a fourth-line center at best and will never be worth the $45 million the Canes invested in him. The offer sheet fiasco remains a Tom Dundon brain fart, and one that stinks just as bad today as it did 4 years ago. Time to move on and learn from the mistake.
Again, I hope you watched the video. I don't disagree that it's time to move on. But also, he's a fourth-line center at best, is what the person said. Right now, he is paid the 77th highest amongst centers. We did all this math in the video. If you assume the top 32 are the ones paid like first-line centers, the top 64 are the ones paid like second-line centers, and if you throw another handful, however many, of centers that are still on their entry-level contracts or they're top-line centers, but they're cost-controlled. So there's another, 7 to 10 centers that are above.
Macklin Celebrini right there.
Yeah, that are above him in the rankings. He's now down into the 80s or 90s as far as like what he is paid like to be a center. Yeah, we're getting down to the where his $4.8 million is a fourth-line center salary. So I have no problem if you make a priority moving on from Kokiniemi this offseason. Don't eat more of the hurt than you have to, right? Don't go into a trade negotiation with, and I have your third-line center Kokiniemi here for a steal of $4.8 million. Don't go in with, will you take him? I'll give you picks. I'll eat half his salary. Will you take him? Don't grovel. Go in there with this dude's played 7 years in the NHL. He's an everyday player. He's been groomed to play two-way hockey by Rod Brindamore. And listen, he's worn out his time here, but there's still a place for him in the NHL.
So Kessler, on that same video, had this to say regarding your argument about 77th highest paid center argument. He said that's irrelevant because he's the team's second highest paid center. And Sam Bennett is making less money than Kotkaniemi this season. Trade him, buy him out, or do something to get rid of him. If the Carolina Hurricanes didn't have his contract, they could have kept Jake Gensel last year, no problem.
Sam Bennett's about to be making a lot more.
He's about to be.
He is their second highest paid center. He is not a 2 center. I get it. League-wide, he's not paid like a 2 center. The Canes are paying him third-line center money and expecting him to be a 2 center. That is a disconnect in and of itself. And by the way, whoever's going to be the 2 center next year for the Canes is likely going to be paid like a 2 center.
Well, you got to think about when this contract was signed. He was paid market value to be a 2C.
Correct, which is why I think Canes fans are treating it as, we need to get rid of him. This guy's not a 2 center. It's awful. It's terrible, which you've already eaten the bad years of the contract, right? He's now not as bad. And by the way, the cap's only going to go up. His contract's not as bad now as it was when he was playing just as unproductive hockey 4 years ago on that same deal. That was actually kind of the point of the video, which is if you take out the relationship that he has with Canes fans, where you remember when you paid all that money and it was supposed to be great and he was a former 3 overall pick, and you even remember like the penalty he took in Game 5 that changed everything, and like you have this relationship with a bunch of scars. If you just look at him moving forward, by this time next year, he'll be the 88th highest paid center in the league, and there'll be another 5 to 10 entry-level guys that are better centers than him that are on rent control. That's what I call those early-level contracts. He'll be in the 90s for highest paid center, kind of theoretically. I'm not saying you're going to, trade him and get Martin Necas back. Right? I'm not saying you're going to trade him and get Robertson back, even more crazy. But I think you can trade him with the expectation that somebody else will be willing to pay his salary, right? Buyout is last case scenario, and it's crazy to me how many fans are advocating for them to buy out Jesperi Kotkaniemi. And I'm just sitting here going like, I don't think you're going to have to do that. I think you're going to be able to move him. I'm not saying you get the world back, but I don't know, a 3rd or 4th round pick, and they take all the salary, that's cool, and that's fine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You don't make money giving money away. Think about that. You also don't make money by giving away closing costs and fees when you don't have to. Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. That's right. When you sign up for your mortgage, you don't have to pay closing costs and fees. You can get a no closing cost loan, a no-cost loan from Miller Lending. It really is that simple. No third-party fees, none of it. Rates are up, no cost on your closing costs. Rates are down, no costs on your closing costs. It is something that Miller Lending has been doing for decades. Gordon Miller, specifically, has been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. So you don't make money giving money away, right? If you don't have to, why would you? If you don't have to pay closing costs, why would you? Call Miller Lending and they can explain how they do it, why they do it, and why it's right for you. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Easy to remember, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. When we come back, we have the starting 5, including some minicamp observations. Stick around.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Marchand roofs it. Florida strikes just 56 seconds in.
Hockey tonight. Florida, Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 4. Puck drop at 8.
Here's a break. Bennett in. Scores! He roofs it. He went backhand, forehand. 4-1 Florida.
On your audio home for the Stanley Cup Final. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
What sounds like a fun weekend?
Let's rent e-bikes and have a picnic.
What does not sound like a fun weekend?
We need to fix the gutters. Let's make 6 trips to the hardware store and still end up with leaky spots.
Preserve your weekend, your home, and investment, and call Preserve Services instead. Our Preserve team excels in interior and exterior painting and home repairs. We're your one-stop shop in the Triangle for jobs you need done, but don't want to tackle. And get this, you don't pay a penny until the job's done. Schedule today at preserveservices.com.
Here we go.
NASCAR makes history on Prime as the Cup Series goes international. We're headed to Mexico City for a road course with all new challenges. 14 turns with 7,000 feet of altitude.
White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Don't miss the first ever points-paying Cup Series race in Mexico. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Track's clear. We're good to go.
NASCAR. It's on Prime.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We do have the chance for a few showers and storms early this evening, 73 the low. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight and mostly cloudy for Friday and your Father's Day weekend. Each day features a chance for storms with highs in the upper 80s to about 90.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell, up 101 points to 42,967.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Panthers minicamp, Carolina Panthers minicamp, wrapped up today. And what I mean by that is they had 3 days of practice. Today was the last one. Earlier today, we heard the 3 biggest takeaways from Dennis, who was actually in attendance for day number 2.
Is this number 5?
Yes. Oh, did I not say that? No, I was too excited.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We heard the 3 things that he took away from being there yesterday. And number 1 was Xavier Leggett and the growth he's shown as a pass catcher, catching with his hands and being maybe more comfortable, maybe getting over a wrist injury he had last year. Dave Canales spoke to the media and talked about the growth he has seen from last year's first-round pick, Xavier Leggett.
Even all through last year, he's a guy that shows up early. He's a guy that's here afterwards, catching jugs, working on releases. During special teams with Coach Moore, working on releases and stems. And then on top of all of it, it's just year 2 in the system. He's comfortable. He's big and fast. The more he knows what he's doing, the bigger and faster he looks.
How about that? I didn't know knowing what you're doing makes you look bigger and faster. How funny would that be if it's true? It's like I studied all night last night. I'm 8 feet tall. Here's the thing for Xavier Leggett. Here's my, and I said this earlier, here's my official take on Xavier Leggett. I think he has to get really comfortable making more with less. And what I mean is, I think Teteroa McMillan is going to be a target hog. I think Adam Thielen, when healthy, is a safety blanket for Bryce Young that comes with a certain amount of targets. I think Xavier Legette and his 4.39 speed has to be prepared to make the most out of every target, and that means deep balls, that means catch and run, that means red zone, all of those sorts of things. So if he is developing, that's awesome news. I think he's going to be boom or bust during the regular season. There will be games where he gets 4 targets, 2 catches, 12 yards. Then there will be games where he has 5 targets, 3 catches, 80 yards, and a 55-yard touchdown. I think that's kind of going to be his role until the offense becomes more prolific passing the ball. I still, as this part of the year, I'm already talking too much about minicamp because I've said so many times that, right, until you put at least shoulder pads on, what are we doing talking about it? The offense, when you don't have pads on, of course you're going to work the passing game more often. What's the point of running, up the middle power running when nobody has pads on, right? You're not really getting better at it. So you run more 7-on-7. You do more passing. You get the secondary involved. I still think once everything is said and done and we get to playing real football, the Panthers want to start their season and build their season off the running game, off the superior run blocking of the offensive line, off Chuba Hubbard, off Rico Dowdle, off that squad. So the passing game, while it's going to be featured in a minicamp situation because, of course, you don't even have leg pads on, it's still going to have to kind of get in where it fits in. I think that's what's going to be the story of Xavier Legette's season. Can he get in where he fits in and make a massive impact? That's the question. That's number 5. And also, by the way, the other conversation about Xavier Legette is he's in rap music videos. He's at the Kentucky Derby. He's at Canes games. The guy he's a star. He's just a couple touchdown catches away from being a superstar. Now it's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Listen to 99.9 The Fan all weekend long for coverage of the U.S. Open. Here's the current leaderboard presented by Wilson Country Club. We have a tie at the top of the leaderboard. It had been J.J. Spawn alone by himself leading the tourney all day. Sunjay M, through 10 holes today in round 1, has moved into a tie for first. They're both at 4 under par as Oakmont Country Club continues to bully some of the players. Obviously, Spawn and M avoiding its wrath. Thriston Lawrence, Matthew Pavon, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, they are all tied for third. Tied for third at 3 under par. Lawrence is off the course with a 67, 3 under. Pavon and Niergaard Peterson are both still in their front 9. So that's the top 5, right, with the 2 tied for first and those 3 tied for third. The big names, as far as playing towards the top, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, and Brooks Koepka are all tied for 7th at 1 under par. They're all about halfway through their round, through 11 holes. Ben Griffin, UNC golfer, formerly, Raleigh native, he is 1 under par, and he's done for the day. So he's up in the top 7 and already in the clubhouse. Other names of note, Rory McIlroy finished earlier today, posted a 4 over 74. He's in a tie for 76th. Bryson DeChambeau, 1 shot better, also in the clubhouse, tied for 64th. Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm are through 11 holes apiece. They are 1 over. That is a tie. They're in the top 30, tied for 29th. Victor Hovland, even through 11, tied for 17th. As far as which stars have kind of been eaten alive by the course, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson are all 6 over. That is outside the top 100. So, course is it's getting some of them. It's catching some of them. Although some are having good days. That is the U.S. Open update. U.S. Open Championship updates on 99.9 The Fan are teed up by Wilson Country Club. Experience the history of this must-play course. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3. So there's a billion different aspects of how players are getting paid and how Schools are getting paid in college sports right now. There is a funny update. I think this is more comical than anything. So college football, the video game, college football 2025 returned last year for the first time in over a decade, right? NCAA football 2014 was the last time that version existed. College football 2025 came out last year. With college football 2026, the next edition, teams get paid for being in the game. That makes sense, right? Like if you're going to use all of our logos and our stadiums and everything, we're going to get paid. They've changed the payout structure. In the past, there's been tiers based on the previous 10 years of AP polls. So if you averaged, a top 10, you got paid X amount of dollars, that'd be the most. If you averaged top 25, X amount of dollars, you get paid the second most. And everybody that was never ranked got the same amount. From this point forward, it's going to be based on how much you are used in the game. So if because Bill Belichick exists, UNC is played in 5% of all games that are played in this game, they will get 5% of the money that is doled out towards teams. And if nobody plays with your favorite school, they will get no money. Which, on the surface, seems like a good idea, right? Like, oh, well, whoever they're playing with deserves the most money. Until you go in the trenches and you play that game for, 10 years like I did from the early 2000s till the late 2000s. And you realize you're very rarely picking a team because, that's the reason why you pick the game, right? Your favorite, you don't play with the same team all the time. Matter of fact, if I'm doing a dynasty mode, I'm actually trying to pick one of the worst teams because I want to build them up, right? I want to start in the dungeon and work my way into. I want to recruit. I want to build. I want to win the Conference USA first, and then I want to win the get conference realignment and go to the ACC. Dennis, who were your teams? This is the easiest way to prove it. When you were playing dynasty mode, who were your squads?
I did a couple of this past with College Football 25. I did one with App State, and I did one with Bowling Green.
Are either of those your favorite team in the world?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there's now questions here, right? If you are an ardent supporter of one team and you used to enjoy grabbing a Louisiana Monroe and building them into a national championship team, are you now going to pick your favorite team because you don't want to give your nickels or whatever, your dimes that you are responsible for, to some other team? You want to give them to your favorite team? Or secondarily, are you willing to change the settings to 1 minute quarters and play 1 billion games with your favorite team so they get the most money? Is it my responsibility as a, once a blue hen, always a blue hen, as a Delaware Blue Hen former player, is it my responsibility to have to go buy an Xbox, buy the game, and just play 1 billion games as Delaware so they have enough money to pay for an offensive guard to protect their quarterback next year? Because, if I have to, I can sacrifice and go play a ton of video games for the betterment of my school. I don't know. It just seems like a funny way to decide things to me. Back in the day, and I don't know if they still do it because I don't have a system anymore. Back in the day, when you first logged in, when you first put it used to be a disc, getting old. When you first put the disc into the gaming system, you would have to select your favorite team, and that fight song would play when you were at the menu, and it would be your default team. Every time you went to pick a team, it would start on your favorite team. I think that's a better way to do it. When you buy the game, say which team do you want to support? Click. Then you can go play with Tulane because they have a cool logo or whatever you want to do. Mine was always Louisiana Monroe or Army, by the way. I'd build them into national championships back in the day. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Let's do that hockey.
There's a Stanley Cup final game tonight.
Yeah, you can listen to it right here on The Fan.
You can listen to it right here on 99.9 The Fan. The Panthers, the Florida Panthers, the defending champions, have a 2-1 lead over the Edmonton Oilers. Dennis, who you got tonight? Well, let's get a pick out of the way and give us some descriptions. How do you see it breaking down?
Edmonton with the bounce back. I think the reason for that being is, one, to me, I think it's a must-win for them. If they fall behind 3-1 in this series, they're not winning it.
I agree.
So it's a must-win in my eyes for them. But let's keep this in mind about Florida at home. They've been 500 at home in the playoffs. They're a 500 team at home in the playoffs.
That is one of those things. It's like J.J. Spawn leading the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
You keep going like.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, this will even out. Oh, no, he'll fade. Oh, no, and then it's like, actually, he finished his round, and he's still the lead. Like, when the Panthers and the Canes were getting ready to play, and Florida had played better on the road than at home up to that point, right? You're halfway through the playoffs, essentially. You're going like, all right, but they'll come back down to earth. All right, that'll flip back. All right, home ice is still important. Now we're almost at the end of the postseason, and they're still doing it. It's like, maybe it's not going to change. Maybe this is just J.J. Spawn's week. With that being said, there's one thing worrying me, okay? I think the Oilers are going to win. But if I'm going to be wrong, there's one thing that's like, I should have seen it coming.
What's up?
They have to keep the Florida Panthers out of their frustrations.
They can't just openly invite them into their heads.
Yes. That might be the better way to put it. Like, at least shut the door. At least don't open it and be like, come on in. Like, it's that game. There are going to be games where you don't play well, right? Every athlete's been through it. And the Oilers had one. They just didn't handle it well. And I'm hoping that there's no carryover there because Florida, if they sense, we've seen it, right? If they sense that you're rattled 1%, they're going to turn that into 3%. And that 3% is going to turn into 7%. And then by the end, you're going to be challenging them to fights. And it's like, what is going on here? And they're going to be pointing and laughing at you, which is exactly what happened in Game 3. It is a must-win for Edmonton, and I think they win. Did you give a score?
Give me a high score on 4-3 tonight.
Ooh. In regulation, right? Because then my bet wins.
Overtime would be nice.
No. How many points for McDavid?
I think he has a multi-point night. I think it's 1-1.
He needs to score more goals, which is a crazy thing to say. Obviously, the assists are darn near goals, some of them, because it's like
they're beautiful.
Yeah, and there's no doubters on the other side. He's getting them layups, but I do think he needs to score more, just for everybody's kind of sense. Also, if I have to see, and I don't know, this is because I get frustrated by it. My timeline on Twitter, if I have to see one more time that McKinnon hasn't played in a month and he still has more goals scored than he's like 7th in the postseason in goals scored and or 8th, I don't know what he is at now, but the same chart gets sent to my darn timeline 1,000,000 times. So I just want everybody to score more than 7 goals. I want everybody who's close to 7 goals to score more, just so I don't have to hear about how McKinnon hasn't played in a month and he still has more goals this postseason than fill in the blank.
Yeah, you can sit on the couch next to him. How about that?
Yeah, but he has a lot of goals. That's all I see. That's what number was that? 2. Let's get to number 1.
The 1! Nimhard back to Turner, shuffles it off to Halliburton at the top, sidestep left 3, good! Tyrese Halliburton with his 4th triple, Indiana back in front, timeout Thunder.
That was all 3 points Halliburton scored in the 4th quarter there. That's all of them. As the Indiana Pacers won the 4th by 14 points to win by 9. Started down 5, won by 9. They have something cooking in those moments, which leads me to 2 points, right? The NBA Finals are now a 2-1 lead for the Indiana Pacers over the Oklahoma City Thunder. I did not see it coming, but there are 2 things that if that, like, you know, you get it wrong, you got to watch the tape, you got to see what you did wrong. There are 2 things that I believe I missed that made it possible for the Pacers to get here. And also, there's still the part in the back of my brain that thinks the Thunder win the series, but I could not have gotten it more wrong through 3 games. So don't bank on me getting it right. But first, let's hear from Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Pacers, on the performance off the bench of McConnell, that's T.J. McConnell, who scored 10, and Benedict Mathurin, who had 27 points in 22 minutes, which is absurd. Both off the bench, Rick Carlisle on his bench guys.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were tremendous. TJ just brought a competitive will to the game. Mathurin jumped in there and immediately was aggressive and got the ball in the basket. And, look, this is the kind of team that we are. We need everybody to be ready. It's not always going to be exactly the same guys that are stepping up with scoring and stuff like that, but this is how we got to do it, and we got to do it as a team, and we got to make it as hard as possible on them.
So the Pacers' depth, I underrated. I looked at this series, and the Thunder have so many dudes, and I thought, all right, well, Halliburton and Siakam. I'm high on Siakam, right? They Nembhard, like they've got some guys I like, Nesmith, but the Thunder have essentially like 2 starting fives. They got like 9-10 guys that they can roll with, and then a game is won off the strength of the Pacers bench guys. And I'm going, all right, boom, hand up. I underrated the Pacers depth. I thought the Thunder had a massive advantage on guys like 4 through 9 in the rotation, and it turns out the Pacers have every ability to win those matchups as well, which does make this a much more competitive series and may, in the end, swing things towards the Pacers. Second point I want to make is this is going to be the most cringy thing I say all day. Okay, have you ever heard what people advise you in like a interview situation when people ask you what's your biggest weakness? Like, what's the cringy thing to say?
My weaknesses are my strengths, basically.
I work too hard.
Yeah, work too hard.
I'm too committed to my work. Sometimes I stay too many hours after to make sure that my work is done perfectly. And it's like, oh, you're telling your hopeful future boss, oh, that's a weakness of yours? I tend to sacrifice everything else in my life to make sure that my job and my company and my boss look good. Like, that's like, cringy, right? Because it's not true. It's not. Anyway. I think OKC, ready for this? It's cringy. Just buckle up. I think they may have been too good this year. And what I mean is they did not play many close games. Their margin of victory this year was by far and away number 1 in the league. They're right. People always talk about how you play in the clutch when it's like a 1-possession game in the final minute of the fourth quarter and overtime. They had league lows in those opportunities. Right, just so often they were ahead by 10 with 45 seconds left, and that's just a different experience than being up 1 with 45 seconds left and having to find a way to win. The Pacers might be the most comfortable team in the league, like down 2 possessions with 90 seconds on the clock. They like live there, and OKC just doesn't have a lot of experience within 2 possessions in either direction at the end of a game, and it just seems to be appearing kind of obvious that one team is more they thrive when the clock is ticking down and the other team doesn't. And maybe that's something that I didn't put enough weight into when expecting the Thunder to kind of roll through this one. Because gosh, once it gets close, it feels inevitable that the Pacers are just gonna roll, right? It just feels like, all right, the Thunder have a 10-point lead here. If it gets within 8, the Pacers will win, which is just a weird way to feel watching a game, right? It's not like, all right, it's close, they better lock in. It's like, oh, it's over, right? Now that it's close, it's a Pacers win. Meanwhile, if OKC keeps it at 15, then they'll be all right, it's just a crazy way to think, but perhaps it's an experience thing. That's what I've gotten to so far for why I've been wrong on this series. We'll see if the Thunder can pick it up and make me look good from this point forward. But if not, that's what I'm pointing to. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do need to grab some numbers game contestants. We have a free 30-minute golf simulator pass going to the winner at Rush Hour Karting. But before we do any of that, Dennis Cox has some info he'd like you to know.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. I said this earlier. I'm just going to make sure I repeat it for everyone out there. If you're a motorcycle rider, always be cognizant of the weather because we all know how things are in the state of North Carolina, especially in the summertime. You just get those random flash thunderstorms and rains and all that stuff roll through. They just pop up out of nowhere. Then all of a sudden, 10 minutes after, it's sunny and steamy outside. Well, you actually had that earlier today. So make sure if you're a motorcycle rider that you know to keep your bike protected, but also make sure that if you are out there on the road and you see storms coming, where's your escape? Is there a parking deck that you can get to? Is there an overpass that you can get under where you can park safely and get out of the elements? Always know that before you go out on the road. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Insurance companies want to give you the least amount possible, whereas Law Tigers, they're part of the motorcycle riding community, and that community is there for you. And that's where Law Tigers comes in. Give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Your case evaluation is always free. They don't get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, needs numbers game contestants. Could be you. But you got to call in. 919-860-5326. Call in now. 919-860-5326 for your chance to win the numbers game, to compete in the numbers game. And if you win, you'll receive a 30-minute golf simulator pass at Rush Hour Karting. If you want to play, call in now. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Golf's third major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover the U.S. Open from Oakmont Country Club. Find out if Bryce and DeChambeau can go back-to-back or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Champions Trophy. Coverage of the U.S. Open on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by Wilson Country Club. Experience the rich history of this must-play course.
It is Men's Health Month, and in honor of Men's Health Month, Tim Donnelly here, joined by Dr. Katie Rains, urologist at Wake Med. Doctor, when it comes to prostate cancer, how often should men be being screened, and does that change with age or other risk factors?
We recommend starting screening at age 55 and going all the way to age 70. We typically stop screening at age 70 or if your life expectancy is less than 10 to 15 years. If you have a normal PSA, that blood test that looks for prostate cancer, we repeat that one time per year to get a trend of that number over time. If your PSA is high or abnormal, then we would repeat that number at a shorter interval if you have a higher risk of prostate cancer. If you have risk factors for prostate cancer, like a family history of prostate cancer, or you're African American, then we would start screening earlier, so between the ages of 40 and 45.
For answers to questions like that one and more information, please visit wakemed.org this Men's Health Month.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN. Green for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The contestants for today are Adam in Holly Springs and David in Carborough. They'll be competing for a half-hour pass, 30-minute golf simulator pass at Rush Hour Karting. As always, I will ask the same question to both contestants. They will answer, and our judge, Dennis, will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Adam in Holly Springs, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. In honor of the U.S. Open starting today, this is not a best. This is a your favorite question. So it's not the greatest. It is your favorite. Who is your favorite golfer of all time?
Tiger Woods.
All right. Any reason you want to give?
I'm from Long Island. When he won the U.S. Open at Bethpage Black, it's pretty awesome to see that.
All right. Sounds good. Adam in Holly Springs, you are locked in. We'll see if you get chosen. David in Carborough, you're up next. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The question is, in honor of the U.S. Open starting today, this is a who's your favorite, not a who's the greatest question. Who is your favorite golfer of all time and why?
Well, the other guy stole my answer with Tiger Woods, so I'm going to say Arnold Palmer because I love tea and lemonade.
All right. Well played. I have a feeling I know who Dennis is going to go with, but I like the save with the tea and lemonade.
Hey, the tea and lemonade, you should have led with that.
Arnie Palmy.
Arnold Palmer alert. I'll go Tiger Woods. I'm going to go with Adam in this one, obviously, because David said, he stole mine. But, I mean, way to save it with the Arnold Palmer.
All right. Adam in Holly Springs, you get to go first. David in Carborough, don't worry, you will have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second. Adam, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories are NFL players who switched their position from college to the pros, NFL players, initial thoughts. These are all players who have initials as their first name. NBA players that are all about the triple doubles. They are players who are active with more than one triple double in their career. Or NHL players, of course, Hurricanes only.
We'll go with the second category, the NFL players with just the initials for their first name.
Sounds good. We will do initials. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. J.J. Watt, Houston Texans.
99.
Correct. A.J. Green, Cincinnati Bengals.
18.
Correct. T.J. Hawkinson, Minnesota Vikings.
Pass.
D.J. Wanham, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Incorrect. L.C. Greenwood, Pittsburgh Steelers.
51.
Incorrect. T.J. Hawkinson, Minnesota Vikings.
84.
Incorrect. D.J. Wanham, Carolina Panthers. You walked away with two. You got J.J. Watt. You got A.J. Green. 99-18. Solid. Although you did say them both with a question mark at the end. You're 99, but you got them right. T.J. Hawkinson, we were looking for 87 with the Vikings. D.J. Wanham with the Panthers. 98, big dude out there. And L.C. Greenwood, 68 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those were the numbers we were looking for. 2 is the score. We'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and stay on the line. That brings us to, yeah, of course, it is awesome. David in Carborough, you're awesome as well. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, the categories that you have to choose from are NFL players that switched positions from college to the pros, NBA players that are all about the triple doubles. They're all active players with multiple triple doubles, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I'm going with the NBA players.
All right. These are all players that are active with more than one triple-double in their career. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. And just so you know, it does sound as if you're somewhere windy, which is not at the end of the world, but just know that if I can't hear you, I will just say that again. And obviously, for time's sake, say that as fast as you can. So if I can't hear you, we just have to confirm, okay?
Gotcha.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn.
You got
Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors.
30.
Correct. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons.
25.
Incorrect. TJ McConnell, Indiana Pacers.
13.
Incorrect. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons.
1.
Incorrect. TJ McConnell, Indiana Pacers.
13.
Incorrect. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons.
5.
Incorrect. TJ McConnell, Indiana Pacers.
11.
Incorrect. Cade Cunningham, Detroit Pistons. Unfortunately, you got just the one. You got Steph Curry. But you did get Steph Curry, right? I'd imagine if you got that one wrong, some friends might tease you for it. So you avoided that one. You got Cunningham, or you didn't get Cunningham. We were looking for number 2. And TJ McConnell, player on the Pacers, had a good night last night. Number 9 is what we were looking for.
Okay.
But hopefully you had some fun.
I did.
All right, cool. Appreciate you for playing. And that means that Adam in Holly Springs, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Half hour on the simulator at Rush Hour Karting. Should be a good time. So go ahead and enjoy that and enjoy the bragging rights that come with winning the numbers game. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab some info from you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Number 9 in the NBA, sneaky, really good number. Sneaky. Like on one of the all-time kind of dumbest locker room arguments that I've been a part of. When I played in college, one of the things that people would get real up in arms about in the locker room, played football in college, was what number in the NBA could field the best team. I don't know why, but we argued about it a ton. So number 9, number 11, like 23 was always off limits because 23, this was in prime. Like everybody loved Jordan. 23 was way too good. It was Anthony Davis, it was LeBron, it was a whole bunch. But it was always 11 and 9 were the surprising ones. 11 and 9 had surprising amount of NBA players at all positions that were really good. And TJ McConnell rocking 9 maybe doesn't seem like a traditional basketball number, but Rondo was 9. Tony Parker was 9. More than that, I can't even remember them. But 9 and 11. 11 was really good. 11 was Jamal Crawford. It was there was a Brook Lopez involved there. They had a bunch. I don't know why that was an argument that we had all the time, but we did. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is not an argument, and I know why I talk about it all the time. Because they're awesome. Maynard Service Company. Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company and their owner, Brett. Brett wants everybody to know. It's a great time to start thinking about cooling maintenance. That's, by the way, so awesome of Maynard Service Company to be interested in the maintenance calls, right? Because let's be real, if you go out there and you run your AC ragged and the main, I don't even know what they're called, right? Carburetor, compressor. It's like I'm a non-car guy talking about a car. And one of the big apparatuses and engines fail, they're going to make a little bit more money fixing that for you. But instead, Maynard Service Company wants to come out, do the maintenance, clean things up, make sure they're running well, which will save you money in the long term. That's called running a good business. That's called caring about your customers. That's what Maynard Service Company does. So whether it's the cooling and cooling maintenance I just mentioned as we head towards the hot months, whether it's checking out your heating system now that you're probably going to shut it down for a few months, whether it's working on your plumbing, checking that out, or you have an emergency with your plumbing, which is always scary. Electric, all 4, right? Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Maynard Service Company wants to help you out. They want to save you money. They want to make sure everything's running smoothly. So keep this number in your phone, 919-361-0993. That's Maynard Service Company, 919-361-0993, or visit them online, maynardservices.com, MAYNOR services.com. We have 42 days now, I believe, until training camp for the Carolina Panthers. We have our question of the day coming up next. Stick around. Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Tuesday, June 24th at Bank of America Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Benfica and Bayern Munich. Angel Di Maria and Nicolas Otamendi taking on Harry Kane and Joshua Kimmich. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA Finals are underway, and FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props. And now you can do everything right within the app with new performance trends, especially if it's after tip-off, because FanDuel is the place for live betting of the NBA Finals. New customers, $200 in bonus bets to you if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You think rush hour karting is just about racing? Think again. At our Morrisville and Gardner locations, you're stepping into a world of high-speed go-karts, axe throwing, golf and racing simulators, arcade challenges, and a full-service kitchen serving up serious flavor. It's where corporate events turn into bonding moments and friend nights turn legendary. This isn't just entertainment, it's serious adult fun. Visit rhkfun.com to plan your experience today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 42 days. Shout out Jackie Robinson. 42 days until the Carolina Panthers open their training camp. Every show from now until then, we're asking a question of the day involving the Carolina Panthers, and today it is very simple. The question of the day for the Carolina Panthers is, what will be Jalen Coker's role? And this is, I believe, of note for not just Panther fans, but like humans. Like if you're out there and you have emotions and feelings, I think this is one that pertains to you. Jalen Coker is a great story. He's a fantastic story. He is also, I believe, a great example of why it is so darn hard to make a long career in the NFL as an undrafted free agent. Because last year, undrafted free agent comes in, actually gets waived, gets put on the practice squad, right? So every other team had to pass on him, right? When you're waived, everybody else can grab you. Every other team passes. He signs back with the Panthers practice squad, eventually works his way back up onto the active roster, gets helped with an injury or two, makes it up to the active roster, at times was their best wide receiver. He caught an 80-yard touchdown. Finished with 32 catches for 478 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is within a arm's distance of the production from their first-round pick rookie wide receiver, Xavier Legette.
Led the team in yards per catch.
Led the team in yards per catch. And by the way, did all of that in 11 games, started just 4. And you think he defied all the odds. This undrafted free agent has established himself. Look at that. That is an awesome story. Then you show up at minicamp and you recognize, well, there's a business to this too. And first-round picks, they make the team, right? They get positions in the depth chart. So Teteroa McMillan, 8th overall pick, boom, role solidified. Xavier Legette, second-year player who was drafted in the first round, boom, role solidified. Adam Thielen, for the amount of money he's making and the role he plays as a productive veteran leader, boom, role solidified. And then you start looking and you go, gosh, I've seen a lot of positive response to Hunter Renfrow and how he might look more like the Hunter Renfrow that had 1,000 yards and went to the Pro Bowl with the Raiders. And gosh, he might be playing for a roster spot. And then you go into David Moore and Jimmy Horn might, in addition to being bottom of the depth chart guys at wide receiver, also be able to contribute in meaningful ways on special teams. And I'm not sure Jalen Coker has that in his bag of tricks. And you start to realize this dude did everything right. He produced when given an opportunity. He stepped up when everybody else was not. And he's still vying, like, kind of in a battle for just to be on the roster this year, which doesn't seem fair because he's done what you do to earn a roster spot. But if Renfrow gets a spot and one of those two other guys, due to their special teams, becomes like indispensable, it's really not that hard to see Coker as like a 5th or 6th wide receiver, and those guys aren't guaranteed anything, particularly if you're not in the return game or doing something else that brings meaning to the team. So he needs to be that much better than them as a receiver. Basically needs to be like in 4 wide receiver sets every time to guarantee a role, which is just absurd based on what we saw last year.
Canales does love to rotate his receivers in and out, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, he likes to use different groupings for different situations or whatever it might be. He likes to rotate guys in and out a lot.
But it's just like rosters can't keep 7 and 8 guys. Like, it just can't happen. Even if you like to have like 2 sets of 4 platoons to run out there.
Yeah, but there probably won't keep 7. But I think he's firmly as one of the top 4 right now because you still don't know what Renfro's body's going to hold up. You really don't.
I'm with you on all of that. It just seems like after you put the season he put together last year, with all of the things he had to overcome to even get an opportunity, borderline 4 or 5 wide receiver feels like how am I there? You know what I mean? Like, how am I not in 3 wide receiver sets every time? You could argue he was more impressive than Xavier Legette last year.
For sure.
And it's the way of the world is not going to be that way. With that being said, you spoke to Jalen Coker.
I did.
And where his mindset is and everything else. So I want to hear at least a couple of those clips. Let's go ahead and hear from him.
All right, so this is actually Jalen Coker talking. I asked him, from last year to this year, how much did he take away from last season and how much has he grown going into the offseason? What has helped him so much from last year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is playbook. I'm able to understand it and not only know where to line up, but now I can I got more time to look at the coverage, kind of see how I'm going to run my routes, kind of the game within the game is kind of starting to start for me. So then just, knowing my teammates, feeling comfortable out there. Like you said, I've done it. So it's fun to come out and know exactly what you're doing and execute at a high level.
I say this not as an insult. Where he started last season wasn't getting a lot of reps, right? Like the NFL is not a everybody gets a couple reps at practice place, right? If you are at the bottom of the depth chart, you'll go weeks without getting like an 11-on-11 rep. So for him, more so this offseason where he's kind of earned at least a spot in the main practice rotation has to be awesome for him, right? He gets to – it's hard to learn an offense just in a textbook or in a playbook, you know what I mean? Just watch it drawn on a whiteboard and take it in. It's much easier to go do it, at least for me, and I think he gets to benefit from that. What else you got from Coker?
So also asked him about the continuity from last year, the chemistry that he has with Bryce Young, and just the chemistry of the offense as a whole. Here's what Jalen had to say.
Yeah, I think that's what good teams are made of, and I think that's what we're trying to breed here, and that's what, you can see it on the field today. You can see it throughout offseason. You could see it coming into the end of last year. You could see that kind of building up, and that's just, like I said, that's just what good teams do, and we're going to continue to build on that for the rest of the year.
That is, to me, one of the best things he has going for him is he seems like a Canales guy, and Canales is all about like overcoming adversities and stuff. And we've seen once Canales is loyal to you, he'll keep he's loyal to you, right? David Moore is a great example of that. David Moore has been you could argue the last couple years of maybe a handful of years of his NFL career is Dave Canales keeping David Moore in the league. So if Coker gets that loyalty and Canales sticks around, then that's a good person to have in your corner. The head coach is a good one to be advocating for you as one of his guys.
For sure. And one thing we got to keep in mind with Coker as well is because he is into year 2, Thielen's a free agent after this season. I doubt he's going to stick around. Hunter Renfro's on a 1-year deal. This is also a long-term developing player as well.
The Renfro stuff is interesting because if they see him as 2021, 2022 Renfro, then – yes, you're like it's just you stumbled into a lucky one there, like diamond in the rough that everybody else overlooked. If he's not, then I think Coker's clearing him easily. Again, I say it every year. I'm not going to care about minicamp clips. It appears as if Renfro's routing people up like it's 2021 out here.
He looked like Renfro. I honestly seen him yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, that looks like Renfro.
It appears like he's routing him up like we're about to head into a pandemic, which is when he was doing his thing. If that's the case, it's hard to keep him off the roster because he is one of those special route runners, and he'll be a 100-catch guy if you let him. Give us one more clip. Do we have time?
Yeah, we got time for a couple more right here, actually. I actually asked him about the end of last season for the offense and for him carrying over into this upcoming year.
We know that we were better than our record last year, and we are going to work – everyone on the team is going to work to get us to the playoffs this year. Everyone's saying Super Bowl. Like that's not something that we're not thinking about. We want to be a winning team this year. We want to win the division, and we want to make a name for ourselves. And that's all going to start right here, right now.
I love when teams aren't afraid to say it. I hate when players want to say championship and coaches are like, "Whoa, 1-0, we got to focus on today." No, especially in a league where there's 32 teams, like. This ain't the Powerball where it's like 1 out of 575 billion trillion chance. Like 1 out of 32. I mean, start there, right? Obviously, you might have to readjust your goals once you start 1-5 or whatever it is. But yeah, like I've no problem with that. You're all professional athletes. You should be striving high.
And I asked him after that. I don't have the clip pulled, but I asked him like, well, who's driving that? Like who on the team is really being that leading force and those voices? And he said Bryce. He mentioned Austin Corbett, Derek Brown, JC, Robert Hunt, like some of the veteran guys on the team, even Thielen included as well. But he did say everyone has to have that. Like we talked about it as well. It's like everyone has to also have that internal conviction too. It can't just be like, oh, you said it, okay, let's go. Everyone also has to buy in and believe it themselves.
And just hearing them speak, all those leaders you mentioned, they're like different leaders might be the way to say it. Derek Brown's not a rah-rah guy. J.C. Horn's the trash talker. Adam Thielen, to me, is the leader of like, hey, I need to find a couch for my apartment. Like he's like the like he's lived life, right? He's the like, oh, you just got a new car? Hey, let's get that insured. Like he's that leader, like making sure everybody's good. I don't know if he's like the, hey, let me give a pregame speech and get you all fired up leader. Like there's roles even within that. And I definitely think Bryce is someone that knows how to chase a championship. The guy won at every level, including college, right? He's got the Natty as a backup with the Crimson Tide. That's going to do it for us here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. As soon as I mention it, Alabama championship, I just got to end it. I'm done. Let's get to Overdrive coming up next, where we start off with the Canes offseason. They have all the arrows in their quiver. Find out what that means next, right here on 99.9 The Fan.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Marchand roofs it. Florida strikes just 56 seconds in.
Hockey tonight. Florida, Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 4. Puck drop at 8.
Here's a break. Bennett in. Scores! He roofs it. He went backhand, forehand. 4-1 Florida.
On your audio home for the Stanley Cup Final. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Here we go. NASCAR makes history on Prime as the Cup Series goes international. We're heading to Mexico City for a road course with all new challenges. 14 turns with 7,000 feet of altitude.
White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Don't miss the first ever points-paying Cup Series race in Mexico. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Track's clear. We're good to go.
NASCAR. It's on Prime.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing